Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a part of the NBK family. Welcome to the weekly Just Nick in the Show, where we talk about the storylines as they relate to our New York Knicks. I and the panel are fans just like you, so we'll talk about our team in a real, honest, and at times not so flattering way. This is not the Pom Pom podcast. You're going to get it real here. So welcome. Today we're talking Josh Hart's extension. We're talking Jalen Brunson being ranked number 12 by HoopsHype.com. We're talking USA basketball and whether this will be a spring forward for Brunson, Hart, RJ, and even Grimes. And we'll preview the next segment of the I Cram to Understand You series. Next up is Mitchell Robinson. So at the end, we'll talk a little bit about that. I do want to remind people, you may not even know yet, but Nothing But Knicks NBK is having a kickoff, a season kickoff cookout, barbecue, gathering, whatever you want to call it, back in Coxsackie, New York, which is right outside of Albany, New York. It's going to be October 7th. So the flyers haven't even come out yet, but I'm just letting everybody know. So if you want to come hang out with us and you got to put your time into your job, this is ample time, almost 2 months to put your time in for the day. I think we did one in July, I want to say, and it was super cool. It's going to be even better this time. There'll be basketball games. It's a family affair. You can bring your children. We'll have children games as well. You know, a little egg game. You got to relay races and the sack games and all of that. They'll have that. We'll have that for the kids. There'll be food. Isaiah, Chef Zay, I take it he'll probably be back, barbecuing. He did a pretty good job the last time, actually. So that's October 7th. I'm thinking maybe I will give away tickets and a t-shirt. I'll do a giveaway as we get closer. But anyway, let's shout out to the fam. Jarrell, Jeff, Stapha. How you doing?
Awesome. I'm good, man. Can't complain, man. Salute to you, Queen. Salute to the chat. Yeah, let's get it. Let's talk about it.
Salute, family.
Yeah. Definitely. Salute to the chat. I mean, let's get right into it. I just want to give a shout out to everybody on this panel because they do their job to help the show go on. The show today, most of the content is from Stapha Don. Like Stapha's been the one this week keeping us up to date on what's going on with the Knicks. We have our private chat. He was putting things, and usually I'll go through the headlines and see what's going on. I didn't even have to do that. All I had to do was go through our feed, see all of the stuff that Staffa sent to us, and I made the show on that. So shout out to Staffa. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff, I think I have the link for his newsletter and his future contributions to the Dope Soul newsletter. I appreciate that. And Joel, who has been here from day one. I appreciate all of you. This is what makes the show what it is. All right. So let's start with this. HoopsHype.com. The link is in the description for those who want to read the entire article. Ranked, this is August. This is the dog days of, content creation. Where people are just coming up with things to just get us to preseason. And they made a list of the best point guards in the NBA. So I want to put that list up. And they had Jalen Brunson as number 12. So as you can see here, in order, number 1, I'm not going to go through all 24, but I'll go through, up until 12. Number 1, Luka Doncic. Number 2, Steph Curry. Number 3, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I'm not even sure he's a point guard, but he plays the position some. Number 4, Morant. Number 5, Dame. Number 6, Trae Young. Number 7, Tyrese Halliburton. Number 8, De'Aaron Fox. Number 9, James Harden. Number 10, Jamal Murray. Number 11, LaMelo Ball. And then number 12, Jalen Brunson. Just your thoughts on the list. And if you can add in there, people say the best, and there's different definitions of the best. For some people, that's who's the most talented, who has the most skill. For others, the best is the most impactful, or a combination, of the two. So just your initial thoughts on the list, and what's your definition of when you think about the best, what comes up for you? We'll go with Jarrell, Jeff, and Staffer.
Hey, salute Steph, salute Jeff, salute Staffer, salute to the chat. Y'all know how we do on Thursdays. First thing I look at this list, I don't know, it could be accurate. Like I don't consider James Harden a point guard either. You was talking about shot. Yeah, Kyrie Irving is right behind Jalen Brunson. They got LaMelo Ball right above. That's just talent. The Charlotte hasn't done anything yet, so Tyrese Halliburton isn't even starting on the U.S. team. Jalen Brunson is, but they have him above him also. Damian Lillard, like for like the top five is really no argument right there. But once you get like the six down, I think Jalen Brunson could leapfrog any one of them people.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I put Trae Young, Houston. I'm in Atlanta, but you guys knew that. Yeah, yeah. And when you think about the best, what's your definition? What are you looking for when somebody says the best? What comes up for you?
I don't know especially when it comes to when you talk about positions, when you talk about point guard. I think it depends on what team, the situation that player is, or with that team. Like I wouldn't compare Jalen Brunson to like Chris Paul. Like they're completely two different players. Like Chris Paul is a true quarterback, and Jalen Brunson at this point in his career is more of a scorer. I would think. So when it says the best, I guess it's really, really subjective what you're looking for. Jalen Brunson obviously is our best player when it comes to the clutch, and in the fourth quarter, the ball is in his hands. So if you're going to talk about somebody is the best when it comes to that, then he should definitely be like top five because he was one of the most clutch fourth quarter players in the NBA last year. So, and he had the playoff experience to back it up last year, especially with against Miami. He played his butt off. So if you're gonna have somebody like LaMelo Ball above him, I think maybe that's just projection and the talent of LaMelo Ball. I wouldn't on a best list, he should not be above Jalen Brunson, even though it's just one spot. That's why I would say I would put Jalen Brunson kind of like in the middle. But when it comes to the best, just like a pure quarterback for the team, for like my definition of a point guard. So, so yeah, Jalen Brunson fits everything. We just need shooters, so his assists will go up, I believe, once we have knockdown shooters.
Right. Okay, Jeff.
I look at it. I'm with Jarrell. I think the top five I have no arguments with. I think LaMelo Ball ahead of Brunson is just kind of silly. I don't think he's really had the impact on a team that Jalen has. Jamal Murray just won a championship, so I'm not going to quibble with that. Halliburton and Fox, I think he's better player than both of them. The one that I want to tackle tonight, though, when I kind of saw Staffa put this up, is the trash can at number 6 there. That's what my son calls him. Not a Trae Young fan. But so with Trae Young, I think the deal is it depends on what you're looking for in a point guard, because Trae Young's assist percentage is ridiculous. I mean, it's in the 40s, which is amazing. So as far as being a distributor of the ball, if you want to say that he's a better distributor of the ball, there's no question of, that's the statistics back that up 100%. But when it comes to who's the better shooter and the better scorer, it's Jalen Brunson hands down. And so if your preference is for a scoring point guard, I think Jalen is going to be your guy. Now, the thing that, and not that Jalen is a bad playmaker, he's just not at Trae Young's level on that. But one thing about that is also his turnover percentage is a lot lower than Trae Young. So you got to factor that in too. when you're talking about these things. And the other thing that I think that you have to analyze is the defense. I mean, we get on Jalen for being a bad defender, but if Jalen is a bad defender, whoo, Trae Young is worse.
Right.
So the advanced stats, I don't think he's ever been better than a -2 in defensive win shares his entire career. You know, and you know, Jalen hangs around like -0.4, somewhere in that neighborhood. So when you're talking about who's the better player defensively, offensive rating and defensive rating both actually go to Jalen Brunson if you like those as stats. And I think they're pretty telling. And, you know, 2 years ago, Trae Young had an amazing season. I mean, just brilliant. And then last year, he kind of came back down to earth because he didn't mix too well with DeJounte Murray. But I think just based on all of that, from what I could see in the stats, I consider Brunson the better all-around player than Young. In my opinion, the only place where he's noticeably better is in his assist percentage, which is excellent. I mean, and so I guess from a more pure point guard perspective, if you want to make that argument, I can kind of see it. But the difference defensively is so vast. I think it more than makes up for the difference. And the other thing that I wanted to mention before I forget, sorry, I should have said this at the top, the usage is different. Trae Young's usage is about 5% higher than Jalen Brunson. So any scoring and all this other stuff, he soaks up more possessions than Brunson does. A lot of that is because Julius Randle is here, obviously. But I think it's important to keep in mind that when you're talking about Young, you're talking about a player who has the ball in his hands all the time, like 35% usage, which is insane. You know, and I think Brunson's career high is like 28 or 29. And the interesting thing is they've both been in the league about the same amount of years. So it's kind of a good comparison, you know, and you just see a steady climb from Jalen from an also-ran to an all-star, which is really interesting and really cool.
Right. Stapha?
Yeah. So salute to you, Queen. Salute to the chat. Jarrell, Jeff. So the other night, me and Sim, and I called into his show, and because he asked me to point out my top. He said if Jalen Brunson was a top 10 PG, so I said top 12. So he said name my top 12. So I had, not in any order, but these were my picks, right? So I had Steph, Kyrie, Drew Holiday, Ja, Luka, what's his name, Darren Fox, Cade, Jamal Murray, then JB. So then after I finished spoke to him, and the following morning, I got this article and I read it. You know, I saw that I missed out some people, right? So the first 5, I will say, right? Then I will take out 6, and I will put Kyrie there. I think Kyrie is way better than Trae. 7, I will definitely take out, which is Halliburton, and I will put probably Jamal Murray in front of him, right? Then 8, I had Drew Holiday. I'm gonna keep Drew Holiday there. I'm gonna go with Jamal Murray at 9, and then I'm gonna have JB at 10. I think I'm gonna roll with that. I think he's a top 10, and then I'm gonna have LaMelo and whoever else comes after that. I think I'll put Cade also too, just because even though he had a stress fracture last year, I saw him in the select team games for about 40 minutes. Just watching him, he was getting to his spots. He was doing what he wanted to do. He was running a lot of pick and rolls with Jalen Brunson, so I think he's going to have a big year. So that's why I kind of put him up there in like number 12, because I just feel like this kid is going to have a breakout year. But I'm leaving Jalen at 10.
Okay.
So that's my ratings for him.
Okay. Any thoughts on Jalen Brunson being ranked above Kyrie Irving, which kind of makes me think that when they made this list, it wasn't just about talent, that they put other things into the equation. But just you guys' thoughts on Kyrie Irving being ranked one spot after Brunson.
I think I don't know how the person who wrote this article, I don't know how they actually feel personally about Kyrie, but I think it's a huge underrated thing. Like, he's not the 13th best point guard. Like, Kyrie is still Kyrie. He still averaged almost 30 points a game last year.
Exactly.
And I think he was like high 20s, 5 and 6 or something like that. Like, Kyrie is still Kyrie when he actually plays. But maybe they put into account like if he missed games or something like that.
Availability may have been a factor.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can see why he is this low. It doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm interested in Staffer, why you had Drew Holiday above Jalen Brunson, because to me, Drew Holiday is extremely good, but he's even better playing with Giannis. Like, he's not that number one point guard. He's in support of Giannis, whereas Jalen Brunson, I mean, it's him and Randle, but in my opinion, he's the best player on the team. But between him and Drew, he has higher usage. We count on Jalen Brunson in order to win games, whereas Drew Holiday is more in a support role. So I was just interested in why you had Drew ahead of Brunson.
I got a slight pushback. The only reason why I put Drew in front of him, I mean, you made a good point with the whole Giannis thing, but I feel like if it's not Giannis, who else is taking the shot? And it's Drew. And if I could remember, Drew was the guy when we played them in the regular season, is the one that killed us in the fourth quarter and hit that 3 to win the game. So it wasn't necessarily
one game though, Steph.
Yeah, I understand it's just one game, but at the same time, he still carries a big usage with Milwaukee besides Giannis. And then Drew has won a championship, and just the whole body of work. Jalen Brunson just is establishing himself and and establishing his own team. He hasn't, in my eyes, even though he is superstar talent, he is talented. There's nothing I'm taking away from him. But in my eyes, I feel like he hasn't done anything yet to surpass Drew. And that's just my opinion.
Would you trade Brunson for Drew?
Would I trade Brunson for Drew? That's a very interesting question.
Okay.
It all depends because it all depends, man. It gotta be depends on the maker of the team. Right now, it's a tough one right there.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Would you trade Brunson for Drew?
I wouldn't. I mean, just from age standpoint alone, I think that Brunson has his best years ahead of him, and Drew's kind of, in my opinion, on the back end of his prime, if you will. I could be mistaken on that, but that's what it feels like to me. And then I think with Kyrie, nobody doubts his talent, but there's a couple things. I don't really consider him a point guard. I really consider him a shooting guard in a point guard's body. I mean, the guy, never met a shot he didn't like. And so I'm not necessarily, down with calling him a point guard. And also, I think he has a reputation now of being a disruptive force in Boston, being a disruptive force in Brooklyn, being a disruptive force in Dallas even. And so you that's the last three places he's been. And if you're the point guard, you're supposed to be the team leader. And if your impact is being a negative one overall just by your presence there, I think that has to factor into the calculations. But if you're just talking about what the kid can do with the ball, he's probably in the top 5. Guy's got incredible talent.
I mean, as I think about it, I mean to cut you now. As I think about it, I mean, Drew is like a two-way player, right? He's a hell of a good defender, and he's a scorer also too, right? Now, currently in the state of New York, if I had a shooter, like a good shooter, alongside probably Drew on New York team, yes, I will get him. But as for with Brunson now, he's a more of a scorer. His defense is not really, great. So, but right now, I wouldn't take him just because, as what Jeff said, he's younger. So I wouldn't trade for him. But I'm just saying the overall skill set, as far as defense and offense, I would still have to give it to Drew on that edge. So, no, I'm not trading for him. No, I would not trade for him. But at the same time, as far as the list, I think I'll still have Drew over him, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. I definitely hear you. I disagree, but I hear you. I think, to me, when I'm thinking about the best, Brunson is on the verge. Brunson is a star. Drew Holiday isn't. And I'm not taking anything away from Drew Holiday. He's a very good player. I like him. He's a two-way player. I wish we had him on the Knicks. But in my opinion, Brunson is a star and on the verge of being even better than that. And I get it. There's certain things guys on this list have above Brunson. Some guys are better shooters. Some guys are better passers. Sometimes some guys are more athletic. But when you're talking about winning basketball games and having an impact on winning and being able to lead a team and being able to figure out what the defenses are doing, and still being able to play your game regardless, and the efficiency, there's not many people on this list that I would take over Jalen Brunson and Drew Holiday. No disrespect to your opinion, Stapha. I don't know if he can be the best player on. I don't know if he could be the best player on the Knicks. Like, I don't know if he could, even out of the shadows of Giannis. Obviously, there's no way we can know that. I'm just guessing. I don't know if out of the shadow of Giannis, he can do what Brunson is doing. I'm not sure about it. I just think Brunson he's just that dude, in my opinion. He's just that dude. And we'll see. We'll see if last year was just a flash in the pan, or if he's going to continue to grow and get even better than he was last year. But none of these guys, not many on this list, would I take over Brunson, because I'm trying to win a championship. And some of these Kyrie Irving, he might play 30 games. If there's something going on socially, because he's very socially conscious, he might take the rest of the season off because he need to protest and be a part of it. I'm not knocking him, but that's.
But Queen, wouldn't you say part of the best is skill set and the body of work?
Not for me.
Okay.
Well, body of work, yes, but Brunson's body of work is shaping up. When I look at Drew Holiday, and I'm talking about winning a championship, I don't think I can switch Brunson out for him. He has a longer body of work because he's been in the league longer.
Now help me out. I get my holidays mixed up. Drew is the one who played in New Orleans, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't do much when he was their lead guard, and that was when they had Anthony Davis, or were they not contemporaries?
Yes,
They were.
Okay, so that was Julius Randle on that team too?
Yes.
Yeah, but he was coming off the bench.
Well, but I'm just saying, so he couldn't win anything with Julius Randle and Anthony Davis on his team? And then he gets to Giannis, and then he's better. I have no disrespect meant to Drew. I'm just saying, I think to me that shows, the difference with what Jalen just coming into his prime in a similar situation. He is able to take over the game, and you get a great defense like Miami that's gearing everything that they have to stop this guy, and they still can't do it. I mean, he's still dropping 40 on him. That's amazing. But, Holiday's a terrific player. He's got an NBA championship. That's something that Brunson doesn't have. But as far as between the two right now, at the stages of career they're at, I just there's no way.
No, well, of course you're gonna choose Brunson. He's more younger. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is just the whole body of work. He's a two-way player. He can defend. He can score. I'm not saying he's the number one when he was in New Orleans, because apparently he wasn't. Right? He was still that number two behind Anthony Davis and whoever they had. You understand? But I'm just saying as far as his body work and his skill set, I just find he's a champion, right? But that don't necessarily say I'm going to trade him for trade him out for Brunson. You understand? But I'm just saying it's just in his whole body of work. I just find he just has just a slight edge. I'm not saying it's just overly matched. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Stapha, we hear you. We just disagree. We hear you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we hear what you're saying.
Because the funny thing about it is Sim and Tony had the same problem with Drew Holiday too. So
Drew Holiday not no slouch though. He was first team.
No.
last year.
That's what I'm saying with all that accolades.
Right.
I'm trying to say he's just not that guy. Brunson is that guy that can lead a team and can be like one of the top something players. Drew Holiday, I'm not sure, but he, maybe he hasn't been in that role. But you're right, he's no slouch. I'm not disrespecting him at all. No doubt about it.
Yeah, we can move on whenever.
But he not Brunson. In my opinion. What about LaMelo Ball? This is another thing again, maybe it's skill set, maybe it's just game, maybe it's just not, the intangibles, what somebody did in the playoffs, watch it. Maybe that's just not a part of it.
Yeah. I'm a big Melo Ball fan, but I wouldn't say he's better than Jalen Brunson right now. I think that this list obviously is projecting next season. Like they got Scoot Henderson on the list at 18. He's a rookie. He hasn't played a game yet. So I think they have LaMelo Ball up there because of what they think that he's going to do next season.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be.
Yeah. Right. And yeah, no doubt about it. I thought Giddey was a little low.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, I guess it's the assists. You know what I mean? I mean, what has Indiana done? So.
True. And plus Brunson is starting over him on the FIFA team. So I think that already proves like they trust Brunson with the starting lineup over him as of right now.
Right.
No, I mean, if you watch the practices, you could clearly see it.
Right.
Yeah, Halliburton's got to do something first. Maybe when he's in the league for 5 years, we'll say that. But as of what the players are right now, I think that's disrespectful to Jalen, in my opinion.
And you know what?
Way overrated.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And you know what, too, Gerald? I feel like also too with the whole Halliburton thing I'm seeing, because remember before he was injured, there was a top 5 team in the East.
That's true.
So when he got injured, they went all the way down. So that's also, they could be thinking of a projection of how good he can be. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that he's supposed to be at 7, but that could be one of their logics also too.
Right. Right. Shout out to Quiet Money. Y'all are wilding. Brunson is a really good offensive player, but Drew Holiday is one of the best two-way guards in the league. Bro was all defense first team to go along with being pretty solid on. Oh, listen, I agree. I think the disconnect is that a lot of us are just thinking about talent. This player is better offensively, this player is better defensively, and I'm not arguing that. But for me, when I think about best, I'm talking about impact on the game. I'm talking about the ability to be the number 1 or number 2 on a team. I'm talking about having teams being at the top of the scouting report and still being able to come out top. So when I think about Brunson, I don't think about, oh, he's just a good offensive player, but he doesn't really play good defense. Me personally, I'm just thinking about, this guy is getting it done no matter what teams are throwing at him. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about somebody that's in the playoffs being able to perform on that stage. There's not a lot of those in the league, in my opinion. I do agree. I need to see him do it, like, not just one year, but year after year. But for me personally, and I'm not taking anything away from Drew Holiday, I don't see Drew Holiday ever doing what Brunson did in the playoffs last year.
Wow.
Um, in that position, like, say Giannis wasn't on the team and it was Drew Holiday and Randle, maybe he could. I'm guessing, maybe he could.
But
But I
but
wouldn't
Queen, but
allow
he
it
is the number 2 on Milwaukee though. The same points
You
that
can argue,
you
you can
just said.
argue that. Some people would say it's Middleton.
Nah, I wouldn't. No.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not the number 2. I'm just saying some people would say that it's Middleton. But listen, I hear you. I hear you guys. Anybody else on the list you think is too high or too low, or should have been in the list? Like, I'm wondering why Murray wasn't on the list.
I mean, maybe because technically he played the 2 guard last year. He won the point guard. Trey's the point guard.
They have Giddey and SGA on the list. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, pick one.
Right.
That's true. And Kyrie and Luka.
Yeah.
Quiet money. Who can Trey Young stop defensively? Who does Damian Lillard stop defensively? Who does Luka Doncic stop defensively? I get it.
Curry stop defensively.
Who does Steph Curry stop defensively? Though Steph Curry's defense has gotten better over the years. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think this is all about you being a Randle fan trying to take away from Brunson. I don't know. That's what I think it is.
Nah. He's all New York. He's all New York. Don't matter what. I know Quiet Money. That's my dog. He ain't like that.
Listen. I know Quiet Money too. I've been to NBA events. I've been to Legends with Quiet Money. I know Quiet Money.
Yeah, we gotta get QM back on, man. He was dope right there. Yep.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of players in the league that can't stop other players that are not two-way players.
Yeah, that's true.
James Harden.
Most of the people on this list.
Yeah,
just like a lot of people say, Jalen Brunson. Some people think he's not a point guard just because his assists are low to them. Like he gets around 6 assists a game. Guess how many assists most of the people on this list get? around 6 assists a game. There are outliers like Halliburton got 10. A couple other people got like 8, 9, but most of the people on this list average around 6 or 7 assists a game.
Right. Somebody did say this list is about assist rate.
Assist rate? Nah.
That's what somebody said. I mean, I guess that's why people are ranked higher.
How many
Oh,
assists does SGA get? Like,
this list reflects high assist rate.
Nah, that's not true. If you look at their stats, most of these players are scorers, except for like Halliburton. Luka gets high assists, obviously, but Steph Curry averages about 5 or 6. SGA 5, Dame 4 or 5, something like that. Like the assists are low. De'Aaron Fox only averaged like 6 assists last year.
Young is up at like 11.
Yeah, Young and Young, Halliburton, Luka,
Harden.
yeah, Harden, they get like 9 to 11. But for the most part on this list, everybody gets around 7 or 6.
Right.
I ain't taking Jalen Morant. I worry about him staying on the court.
I'll still take him though.
Talent-wise, he's incredible.
Yeah, I'll still take Ja.
I worry about knuckleheads.
That's the thing about it is some guys on this list are really, really talented, but how many are going to be able to put it together and lead their team to a championship?
Right. After what Brunson did in Game 6 versus Miami, most of the people on this list can't do that. I can't see it.
You don't see a Kyrie taking over?
I said most of the people. He
okay.
He is definitely one of them, Stapha.
Okay.
I think Kyrie is way too low on this list. I think availability is the only reason he got 13. He should
right.
He has an argument for being top 5. If we're just going to talk about skill set.
Well, that's why I put him at 6.
Yeah,
I have him at 6.
Like
and really, even Chris Paul at 22.
Right, and he old.
Right.
I think he's declined quite a bit, though. I can kind of see him maybe not being that low, but I wouldn't put him above Brunson at this point in his career. I mean,
neither would I.
At this point in his career, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
That time for Chris.
I thought I had the there was a video loaded in of a guy who did a short on Brunson that I thought was pretty good, and I thought I had it loaded in here, but apparently I don't. All right, so we're gonna have to move on from it. But I guess the question I have Ajay, I'm sorry. Welcome, Ajay. How are you?
I'm okay. Salute Queen, salute panel, salute chat. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button.
No. Let me guess. You didn't check the Twitter chat?
No, the Queen emailed it to me. I'm just
because you weren't here. I figured that maybe you didn't have access to it.
I got stuck in rain traffic. You know when it rains, like everybody forget how to drive when it rains. So
I heard it was pouring in New York today.
Yeah, I got stuck in rain traffic.
It's pouring where I'm at.
Send some of it down to here to Texas, man. We got 108 in the shade.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it rained a little bit this morning here in South Carolina. And that was there for probably like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
hard rain too. Hard rain.
I'm in Jersey and PA. It was definitely a monsoon at certain parts of the day for me today.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. Ajay, did you want to comment on the point guard list? Do you need to see it again?
No, I did see it, and I was actually listening, on the way here. I can't really. I don't know the criteria they use. Right. I mean, it's like I don't know what they're comparing. I don't know what. I just have no idea how they come up with that list. Some people make sense. Some people don't make sense. So I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't know the criteria. Like I'd have to know.
What's your criteria for best?
Wow, for me, as a point guard, it would have to be like who has the best combination of being a scorer, a passer, a leader, impact on the game, availability, and as you guys mentioned, somebody who could take over the game. Like when the team's adrenaline is low, like somebody that come over and say, you know what, I got this. So but it's a combination of all that, and it's not. So I don't know what they use for their, because they have some guys on that list that are good at some of those things, but not at others. Kyrie being that low on that list is kind of silly. I mean, this guy, he's a top point guard of I probably of all time. So Kyrie Irving he's an excellent player. So I don't know, like getting other people. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the criteria, so I really can't judge. It's just a list, and some people on that list they're nowhere. There's no way they're better than Jalen Brunson, but if they had to give us a couple of FUs just to make clickbait. There's a couple of guys on that list that are not better than Jalen Brunson, but they purposely drop him there just to get Knicks Nation going, just to get us talking. So, but I really can't say much about that. In my head, Jalen Brunson's like top 5 in the league, so I don't care what anybody says. Mainly, probably because I don't watch the rest of the league as much as that. I see all of Jalen Brunson's games, so I'm like, oh, that guy's good. That guy's great.
Right.
Hey, at least you admit it. Some fans won't even admit that.
No, I'll admit it, man.
No, but they do have Knicks fans like that too that just watch only New York games,
right,
and don't watch no other game. So they really, will have that opinion also.
Right. What do you guys think? Because I see in the chat people talking about how many, and not just this chat, on multiple shows, Brunson's assist rate. What would you guess the NBA league average amongst point guards for assists per game? The league average.
I mean, I brought it up earlier that most of the people on the list average around 5 or 6. So I would say around there, like either between 5 to 7 on average.
Well, the thing about assist rate though is people got to make shots. I mean, who are you going to pass the ball to on this team and feel confident that you're going to get an assist?
Right.
We're one of the worst shooting teams in the league as far as three-pointers go. You're going to give the ball to Barrett. You're going to have to pass it to him 10 times to get 1 assist.
That's another stat that, like we use it a lot as a measuring stick, but it really doesn't mean much because it depends on 2 people. Like if one person Jalen Brunson could dish out 30 passes, right? And then they hit 2 out of that 30, so he only had 2 assists. Meanwhile, he passed the ball 30 times to a shooter. So it's not a really good gauge of how the point guard tries to get the rest of the team involved. I don't think, but that's the standard they use, but it's kind of half-ass, I guess.
You know when it comes to Brunson, at least, if people actually watch like the FIBA games and watch how Jalen Brunson runs the pick and roll with like Jackson or some of the other bigs, you can tell that he knows how to pass the ball. We just don't have the personnel that team has. Like once we get the talent that will reflect like that talent, like if we had Jaren Jackson, yes, he would be a pick and roll maestro, I think. But we have Mitch, so
nice passes to him.
Right. So since we have Mitch, it's going to be a little different. Like, can't run the pick and pop with Mitch, and he's not a good screener for the role. So, I don't see what people think Jalen Brunson is supposed to do with one of the worst shooting teams in the league and a center that can't shoot.
Jarrell, think about if Jalen Brunson, like if he was dishing out all those Magic Johnson type no-look passes, right? But you don't have James Worthy, you don't have Kareem to get the ball. He'd be the king of turnovers because they all be going out of bounds. But it depends on who's on the receiving end of it. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. The point guards averaged 4.3 assists per game in 2022-2023. So 4.3 was the average. I do think if we have better personnel, Brunson will do more. And what I like about Brunson, and shout out to Uncle Fulio who was in the chat earlier, Brunson is that type of point guard who I think he scores because he on this particular team he needs to. You know, I just think as we get better personnel, he'll probably will pass more. He doesn't come across to me as somebody who just has to score the basketball. I think he comes across as what do we need? This particular team needs that. You know, if we get some more scorers on this team, I can see his scoring decreasing and his assists coming back. I think he'll still be clutch. I think he'll still pick his spots. You know, if we need that, but I think he would be comfortable reading what we needed. Ajay?
You know what I'm laughing. I got some crazy ass there, right? So can RJ Barrett, can we use the same excuse for it? Is that why he don't pass the ball? Because like on the other hand, like they don't score. That's why he forces drive to the basket and runs into all kind of walls, and like he doesn't pass the ball. Is that why? Can we use the same excuse for him?
No.
Why not?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because you can tell by the way that they
team.
play. You can tell by the way they play. Like RJ isn't looking for anybody. Like he's not trying to make for anybody. Like he started doing it. Like that's why you could tell the stark difference when the playoffs started. So when he's actually started doing it, everybody actually said at the same time, "Oh, look at RJ Barrett actually looking for people." It's a reason why everybody said that at the same time. Because he wasn't doing that during the regular season. Like I don't know why he was doing it in the playoffs, but he wasn't doing it. Maybe because he knew JULIUS was hurt and JULIUS couldn't do it as well.
Okay. And I think the other part of that equation is this. Look at the player themselves. Jalen Brunson is one of the most efficient shooters and scorers and play in the league, as opposed to Barrett is one of the most inefficient shooters and scorers. So when you're talking about, even if you're a point guard, if I'm the highest percentage shooter on my team, it may be the best play to just go ahead and shoot. When it's RJ, it's almost never the best play for him to go ahead and shoot because he's so inefficient.
Yeah. A-Train, shout out to A-Train. She said non-shooting Mitch and no mid-range RJ ain't helping Brunson's assist numbers. You know, like we all said, you got to be able to pass and you got to have somebody to shoot. I think Brunson does have the vision, though. Watching him in FIBA, you can see that he does have the vision. Ajay, you were going to say?
No, I was going to say I agree with the RJ part of that statement, but not the Mitch, because Mitch has a very high field goal percentage, so he converts a lot on whatever he can grab. Like his hands is not, you know, he doesn't have great hands, but when he does catch the ball, he converts. He's had a very high.
But I think he converts. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, why do you think he converts? Where is he converting from?
He has a high field goal percentage.
But where?
From where?
Inside of 3 feet.
From around the basket.
It's
Yeah, from
right
basically
under the
from around the
basket.
basket. Yeah.
No, but that's where he is. That's where he catches the ball. The point is, if they pass him
offensive rebounds, though. Mitch to me, Mitch hands is not great either. I've seen many times they drive the lane, switch it off to Mitch, and it's rolling out of bounds. I think off of offensive, his hands is better than Noel. Get me wrong, slightly. But most of Mitch's shots is coming off of offensive rebounds. It's not like they might hit him for a for a lob and he'll catch that. But
and that's fine. But overall, he has good percentage, so he can't he can't possibly be hurting somebody's assist ratio. I don't think. I mean, mathematically, if he's converting, whether it's off the glass or off a pass, he's converting. Unlike other guys who ain't converting.
But this is the thing. If you got somebody who's not an offensive player, how many assists are you getting from that guy? So you think about all the available shots that's there. You ain't getting assists from Mitch because you ain't throwing it to him. He gets about 4 shots a game. You ain't getting assists from RJ because he's getting a shot a game and he's not missing it. I mean, the point is the opportunities. If you're going to get assists, is going to be Grimes, Randle, Grimes and Randle.
And
I
then we complain about Grimes not shooting enough. He has Mitch, who can't score outside of 3 feet. He has RJ, who can't shoot from the outside, and Grimes, who isn't aggressive enough. So that's 3 players out of your starting 5 that he has to pass to in order to get assists up. And he still averaged just as much. He averaged more than the average starting point guard in the NBA.
I hear you, Jarrell. But what I'm saying is
Brunson, the story of him.
I'm saying Mitch doesn't hurt his assist ratio because Mitch, if he passes the ball to Mitch, and Mitch is like 4 feet from the basket, that's too far from him. He's not going to shoot it. Like you'll see him, he'll pass it this way. So he's not going to hurt his number of assists. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Mitch is a shooter. I'm just saying he has a very high percentage, Mitch, right? A field goal percentage, or he doesn't take the shot, which it no longer counts as an assist, not because he passes the ball. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't hurt anybody's assist numbers.
So that's why
take out lack of opportunity, because I think that's what's happening with me. He hurts you because you're not getting opportunities with him on the floor. But I get you. If for the 2 passes he does get, he'll convert it. I hear what you're saying.
I see what you're saying.
So that's why I'm saying
somebody else there though, you can actually get more assists.
Exactly. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying he helps. I'm just saying he doesn't hurt. Okay, you know what I mean?
All right.
He doesn't hurt it, but he doesn't help it. He doesn't do anything with it.
So Queen, that's why they got to tune in on Tuesday, because it's going to be all about Mitch. I Cram to Understand series. So you see how we talking about Mitch? Next week, Tuesday, I want everybody to bring all their questions, their opinions, because it's going to be a fire show. Okay? It's already starting to get hot up in here already with the Mitch talk. So look out next week, Tuesday. I just want to plug that in.
No doubt.
Right.
Let me play this little short that some of you may have seen. This guy is from, let me see. The link is in the description. I do want to give him his credit. Let's see. And I actually like him. I've seen a few of his videos. I like the way he breaks it down. Here we go. He is from the Volume YouTube channel. So this is what he had to say about Brunson.
Player is he's super versatile. Obviously, he's got all the.
Let me bring it back.
That's the key with Jalen Brunson. The story of him as a player is he's super versatile. Obviously, he's got all the shot making, 48% on catch and shoot jumpers, 45% on dribble jumpers, 52% on floaters, 63% on hooks out of the post, and 55% at the rim. All those numbers are way above average, except for the rim numbers. That's pretty much average for a guard. And he's a very good passer. But it's not just him making those shots. It's the way in which he does it. He sees the bigger picture of basketball games at an extremely high level. He was 28 points per game on 59% true shooting against 2 elite defenses. The Cavs were the very best defense in the league, and the Miami Heat ranked 9th. If I told you a nameless player was going to go against 2 top 10 defenses and score 28 points on 59% true shooting, you'd be thinking like Dame or Steph Curry or someone along those lines. That's the level of production that is. That is legitimate superstar production in the playoffs that you're getting out of Jalen Brunson.
So my question to the panel and those in the chat, salute Sherwin. Is there another level? You know, I talked about this with Freezy, so I'll let you guys, and we may have talked about this before, but what's his ceiling, and do you think he's a superstar already? Me and Freezy went back and forth on this about a week or so ago.
What order you want us to go in?
Jay Boogie, who I saw in the chat. Jay Boogie, I sent you the link twice because I added you to the group, so I sent the link that way. And then I also sent the link to directly to you when I saw you weren't on, so maybe you might have missed it. Let's go Jeff, Stafford, Jarrell. Look, Jeff, Ajay, Stafford, Jarrell.
Gotcha.
I think he's got another level. He's just 26 years old. He's just entering his prime. Here's a guy who just wants to win and get better. And the thing that I'm curious about is now that he's got Josh Hart for a full season and Dante DiVincenzo, guys that he's familiar with and has good on-court chemistry with, I think that unlocks a whole new level for him as well, because now he's playing with guys who he's familiar with, who are familiar with him. He knows where to get Dante DiVincenzo the ball, and we know DiVincenzo can shoot. He knows where to get Hart the ball in the spots that he likes to score, and we saw that in the playoffs last year. I mean, when Hart ended up winning the game against Cleveland for us with that three-pointer at the end, we've seen that he can unlock these guys even more. So to me, maybe he's not one of the top 5 players in the game, superstar level, but this kid is a star, and I think he's still on the rise. I don't think that he's plateaued at all. I think he has a lot more big playoff moments ahead of him. He's a guy who just makes winning plays in the playoffs, and I think when we get back there, he's going to have the opportunity to do it again, and I think he's going to do it. He loves the big stage. He loves to win. And look, without him, the Knicks don't even make the playoffs last year. They may be in the play-in, but we don't make the playoffs without him last year. And now that he's got more guys he's more comfortable with, I think he can step up his game even further. You got to remember, this is really the third season now that he's really being able to soak up high usage and do these things at that level. So I think he's got another gear to kick it into.
Quinn, you're muted.
Gerald B, if this is Brunson's ceiling, I will take it. Staffer?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah, I thought Ajay was next, but I'll go.
Sorry, you right, Ajay.
Oh, okay. I mean, this is just the beginning. It's like the appetizer, like the chicken wing, but we have the beef, like the steak dinner coming. We ain't seen nothing yet with Jalen Brunson. And somebody mentioned we saw him carry 2 teams throughout the playoffs. I mean, he comes in when it matters. He comes in when the heat is on. Jalen Brunson. So there are several levels, I think, to go up. The more you surround him with better players or players that he's more comfortable with or players that he can trust more, and you get less usage, because he has to be able to be his durability's got to be there. A lot of time, smaller players get hurt and they don't last long in the league. But if he could last long, I mean, he is going to be, by the time he's done, he's going to be one of the best Knicks of all time in a lot of categories. So, yeah, I think this is just the beginning. He has not just another level. I think he has a few other levels to go up. And we're going to see it as we get better player, a better team around him, like teams that are that he's more comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that says a lot. Multiple. I mean, he's playing at a high level now, but multiple levels. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Staffer?
Yeah. I definitely think he has another level. I believe if he just would have had the help in Game 6, I think he would have had a spectacular game in Game 7 at the Garden. I think it would have been such an incredible game that would have probably went down in one of the Knicks' greatest Game 7s ever, because this is how clutch that guy. You just hear what that guy said. The #1 defense in the playoffs with Cleveland, and Miami. Spoelstra, 28 points. Yo, like the little guy is one of the next wave super small point guards to ever play this game. And I have to agree with Ajay. It's just the beginning. This was just a taste of things to come. I know Gerald B, you say this is his ceiling. He's going to freeze guys out. But sometimes when you're a superstar and the ball needs to be in your hand and you need to make that play for your team, I'm giving the ball to Jalen Brunson and telling him, go get us that basket, win us this game, take us home. So I definitely think he has a next ceiling. And as far as Brunson go, this team goes. So, yeah, no doubt, man. Future superstar. You know what I mean? And he's making a lot of noise, not for just last season. He's making a lot of noise in Team USA. And he even said it in an interview. This is just going to get him ready for the season physically and mentally. So you see the guy is already thinking mentally already how he's going to approach the game for training camp when he comes in this season. You know what I mean? Just that also that mental level too that he has. Just that winning mentality. So you got to put all of that into perspective also too, man. Not only the skill set, the offensive, but just his IQ and his ability to read the game also too. So yeah, man, it definitely, man, definitely another Knicks superstar, another great point guard. That's going to shock the league, man.
All right. I guess everybody should already know how I feel about Jalen Brunson. I've been calling him my point guard for like over a year now before he actually got a chance to prove it. Jalen Brunson, I don't know what to say about him that we didn't say already. Like I think he's our best player, especially in the fourth quarter. I'm the type of person that actually put superstar in a very, very high regard. Like, I will not call him a superstar yet. Like, if he have a couple more seasons like he did this past season, then yeah, I could put him up there. But I think to be a superstar, you got to have a lot of league-wide notoriety, and he still has a couple of accomplishments to get through his career in order to become one of those. Like, he has yet to be an all-star. He hasn't been an NBA all NBA player yet. So like, he proved it in the playoffs, but he has to just prove it a little more during the regular season, which I think he can do. And I wouldn't call him a superstar right now, but in the future, definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jarrell. There's only a handful maybe of
Right.
superstars in the league, and I wouldn't put Brunson there either. I think he is, he's one of those star players, but I think he's early into his stardom, and just really needing to see him do it over and over, and over again. And I believe he can, but there is something like in the back of my mind is like, what if he just had a good season?
Right.
What if this was just a good season? But I don't think so. I just think this guy is just built
to win.
different, built to win,
Yeah.
built different. He's been doubted and people are still doubting him after seeing him, the last season with Dallas, after seeing him game in and game out with us, including in the playoffs where he was the only guy that showed up consistently. Knicks fans still still doubt him. So I do think he has another level. I don't know if the other level is, and this is the same with Randle. I don't know if the other level is talent wise. I think the other level is doing what you do as it gets harder. As the Knicks move into second round, as the Knicks move into the Eastern Conference Finals, if the Knicks get to the finals, how do you do what you usually do in a tougher environment? And I think that's the leveling up that I want to see from Brunson, and we're not going to see until he gets there. And that's the same thing from Randle. I don't want to see Randle now he can shoot off the dribble, or now he's, shooting a 3-pointer better. Or now, I mean, okay, fine. You can still work on your game. That's fine. The next level up for both of those guys is doing what they do in tougher situations when the lights are a little brighter. That's what the superstars and the stars do.
Right.
They, no matter what coaches are throwing at them, no matter how bright the lights are, now it's the second round, now it's the Eastern Conference Finals, now it's the finals. Those guys are not phased. I'm not saying they don't have bad games, but they're not phased. They're built for that level. And to me, that's the next level for Brunson, and that's the next level for Randle. Just performing at a high level in these higher leverage games. That's the next level for them. And I think Brunson showed us something in the sense that teams really keyed on him, particularly Miami, when he didn't really have a lot of consistent support. Some guys showed up. I'm not going to say he had no support. We didn't have a lot of consistent support throughout that Miami series.
Perfect way to put it.
And no matter what they threw at him, he was able to figure it out and still be effective. And that's what you're going to need as you go further into the playoffs. You got to be able to figure it out sometimes on the spot, sometimes during a timeout, sometimes sometimes you don't even have until the next game to figure out what they're trying to do to stop you. He's super smart. He's super smart, and he understands the game. That's why I think I get a little offended when people are like, oh, he's just an offensive player.
No.
Like, are you what? Like, you don't see all the other stuff,
It doesn't necessarily always has to be scoring also too. It could be the right assist.
Right.
So
they don't see it stuff.
And the right decisions.
And exactly. I was saying earlier, just his mentality and his IQ, just on a different level. You know what I mean? So
we don't talk about the IQ enough.
Yeah, man. Real smart basketball player, man.
He's the starting point guard for Team USA. That alone.
No, but it's unanimous. It was a unanimous vote. You know what I mean? So everybody saw it in practice that he was the starting point guard.
Right. That should show the fans something.
Exactly. But there's gonna always have doubters. You know what I mean? And then the popular saying, if you ain't popping, you ain't got no haters. So you're gonna have haters regardless. You know what I'm saying? So
word Stapha, word. You have the Jets quote in there.
They can continue to down. He's going to continue to ball out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
All right. Shout out to Paris Duggar. I appreciate you, Paris. Nice guy, by the way. I know he get me tight sometimes in these sessions. But I was able to meet him at Legends at one of the NBK events, and we sat together and eat and drink. It's just a really nice guy. Jalen was declared better than Jimmy in our series. He did play better. He did play better than Jimmy Butler. I think the question is, if somebody plays better, does that make them better? But he did play better than Brunson. I mean, than Jimmy Butler in that series.
I know this may open up a can of worms too, but I know this may open up a can of worms too, but you got to put it on Tibbs' defense too, man. We was the only team that held Miami under 90 points in every single one of their games.
What you trying to do, Stapha? You trying to give?
I know I ain't trying to stir up. I know, but
this is not the Tibbs show. What you say about?
Yeah, you trying to give him some credit? Tibbs can't coach.
No, I'm just saying though. I mean, everybody was calling Himmy Butler. We held him down. He had to make other players be better for them to beat us.
AJ gonna mess around and jump across my square to get to you, Staph. Talk about Tibbs in a positive light like that.
Nah, I'm gonna say, Jarrell, Tibbs defense. I didn't see him on the floor playing defense. That's credit to the guys. That's credit.
No,
to the
well, I
players.
mean, he implemented the defense. He is the guy that talk about defense. I think somebody was talking about Kobe Bryant story where Tibbs was staying back to show Kobe Bryant. I think when he used to play for Philly in high school or something like that.
Okay.
And then I think in the playoffs when it was playing against Boston, I think there was like, how do you think that Boston is going to defend you? And first thing he said was like, ask Tom Thibodeau. He's gonna find a way. So people, you got to give him his credit, man. I'm not saying he's the best, but you know what I mean? You know, when it comes to defense, he know what he's doing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean the players have to carry it out, but the coaches
right, exactly.
Listen, it can't go both ways. You know, when
no way you give them the game plan, you know. They got exactly, and they got to execute it. I totally understand that. Exactly, yeah. I totally understand.
When the players don't play well, it's Tibbs' fault.
Exactly.
But when they do play well, it's their fault. You know, Tibbs I mean, come on.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that logic?
No, you feel how you feel, AJ.
It don't have to make sense, obviously, but at the same time, don't be up here getting on Randle people. The people who's all up on Randle. I don't understand these people. You don't have to understand them. It makes sense to them.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on Jalen Brunson? Shout out to the chat being active today. We got 99 listening, 57 likes. So if you guys can and gals hit that like button if you appreciate the content. How much? Yeah, if you appreciate the content, I appreciate it. And I did want to say to Sherwin, everybody makes bad decisions. Brunson may have made some bad decisions. Randle makes bad decisions all the time. I know you're a Randle fan. RJ makes bad decisions. Mitch makes bad decisions. Players make bad decisions. It happens. Nobody's perfect.
Everybody calls Spo one of the best coaches in the league. His entire defense was to surround Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
And Brunson still killed him.
No, but if you go back and you look at the press conference, Jarrell, who was he raving about?
Right.
Come on.
So yeah, like if you have that high of a usage, you play damn near the whole game. He played 48 minutes the game before. Maybe the next game you might have a couple brain farts in the fourth quarter. You just might. But for the most part, he was our best player. Can't take it away from him. You can't take it away from him at this point. It's all on film now. And the NBA is starting to notice too. You can tell.
And I think we have to get out of the mindset about what a point guard is in this day and age. I think historically, a point guard's passing would open up shots for themselves. And nowadays, it's your scoring that's opening up the passing lane for others, right? They have to respect you. So they're going to double team you. You're going to draw a lot of attention. And then that opens up shots for other guys. It's almost the opposite. So I think this pass first point guard thing, I just don't think that's the way the game is played any longer.
Well, the rules of the game are different now. They favor the guards. It used to be the NBA was a big man's game. If you didn't have a David Robinson or a Hakeem or a Shaq or a Ewing or Kareem, you were generally in trouble with, but now it's such a guards game. I mean, used to be you could hand check a point guard and keep them in front of you. You can't do that anymore. So the game is geared toward the guards being able to score. And so, that's how these teams are, name the teams that have great post play at the center position. They're maybe two? That's just not how the game is played anymore. It's a guards game, and they use their attack with the dribble or with their ability to stretch the floor with their shot to open up things for everybody else. It's a completely different game than the one that I started watching when I was a kid.
You said
showing.
Go ahead, Stapha.
No, I was answering showing in the chat. He was no Butler said their defense was to crowd Randle, which is right, but who is the head of the snake on this team? Jalen Brunson. So even though they prepared, yeah, of course, when you're going to scout the Knicks, you got to scout Randle. But at the same time, who you think is the go-to guy on our team? It's JB. So in order to cut off the head of the snake, you got to cut off JB first. You know, I mean, do I sound wrong? Or am I wrong?
I mean, I think I mean, I think part of it was Randle, but I think that was their plan for the Knicks, period, because they know the Knicks take a lot of shots in the paint. So we're going to pack the paint. And if the Knicks are going to beat us, it's going to be on outside shots. Mm-hmm. So he may have said it was Randle, and maybe it was, but I don't think they just wanted to crowd Randle. They wanted to put their players in the paint. That's going to stop Josh Hart's drives in transition if they can get back in time. That's going to start make it difficult for RJ, who takes 64% of his shots below the free throw line. That's going to make it hard for Randle, and that's also going to make it hard for Brunson because Brunson takes a lot of his shots in the key. I don't know what the exact percentage is. So their entire defensive philosophy was pack the paint. If they're going to beat us, they're going to have to shoot the ball well. In the games in which we did shoot the ball well, I believe we won. You know, when we were able to get multiple players, not just one player, multiple players to hit three-pointers, the Knicks, I believe the Knicks won those games. So yeah, Sherwin, I like every player on the team. I want Brunson to pass more. I want Brunson to pass. I don't want Brunson to pass more. He's the best player on the team. He's the best. He does well with the ball in his hands. Obviously,
he is the go-to guy.
If they cut him off, you know, if they rotate to him, that's just basketball. Pass the ball. They double teaming you. They rotate into you. Pass the ball. I know when I played, there was time I didn't play guard. When I was dropping the ball or whatever, I saw less shots that game. That's just how it is. The guards see you fumbling around and what have you. Nah, she ain't ready or he ain't ready. You know, your shots is going down today. I mean, I think that's just human nature. You drive the lane and you shoot in 50% in the key. You're shooting 50% in the key. And you look over to your left and you see RJ Barrett is open. And you got to make a decision. Am I going to take this shot or I'm going to pass it out to this guy? No, I'm going to take the shot. I'm good. I'm good in here. 55%. I think when guys start making shots, they'll see more opportunities.
I don't know. It seemed like I think it's older fans probably don't like the way the NBA is being played. I think that's what it is. It's not that Brunson isn't a good passer. Like we said countless times, like he averaged more assists than the average starting point guard in the league. So I just think, you know, someone's probably stuck into, you know, your point guard got to average 10 assists. It's not like that anymore. Like it's actually pretty rare.
There's a lot of old heads in this chat. I just seen somebody talk about they're gonna be 49 in the next 2 months, and this one is 48, 46.
No wrong with that, but I guess that's why I see why they think that. Which is
right. No, that's a very good point. It's true.
But I'm on the older side too. You gotta see how the game is changing as well.
Yeah, but I feel like Steph, some people don't understand the business part of it than just the talent side. You know what I mean? They gotta combine the two. You know, and I sometimes I feel like some of them, they just don't understand that metric. You know what I mean? Because you can't compare 1990 our era to this era is totally two different things. You know what I mean? It's a players league now. You know, certain things has changed. You know, the money has changed. People look at your worth now. Especially look at the whole name, the whole thing with your name. You understand what I'm saying? You know, you sign your signature. That's money right there. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a totally different era, you know, with this whole basketball thing, man. And once the people get the grasp of the whole metrics with the whole money, the business side, and not always look at the talent side, I think that, you know, and what the players are really worth, I think people are gonna have a more understanding of how the league is going to be moving further in the future.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Anything else about this topic before we move on to Josh Hart's contract extension? All right, so we'll spend a little time on Josh Hart's contract extension. We did an entire show a few weeks ago when I think it reported to be 4 years 74 or 4 years 76. No, 4 years 75, right? I think the report was back then. Now he signed 4 years 81.3 million, I believe it is. I think everybody on the channel on this panel, if I remember correctly, was in favor of the extension and in favor of how much he was reported to be getting. This amount is a little higher. Does this change anything about what you thought back then?
Nah, not for me. I still think Josh Hart, you know, for lack of a better word, is going to be the heart for the New York Knicks going forward. I think he's going to, I don't know, be our glue guy, like the important glue guy that needs to be on every championship team. So the numbers are maybe a tad higher than I thought they would be, because I think most of us were saying that he would get like around 18.
Right.
This time it's it's $22 million. So I'm not mad about the price at all.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment?
It's all relative, right? If RJ Barrett could get 25 million, yeah, Josh Hart could get 18 million. I mean 20. It's actually broken down.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, it's not
on average. But on average,
on average, it's 20 million 250,000, right? Wait, no, it's 20. 80. What is it? 21.
It's 81.3. But this is shout out to Barbie Marks, man. He always be on point. If he got to get on his board, he don't even have enough time to do a slide. He'll just get on his board and just do it. But
there's a 0.3, so it's not just 81; it's 81.3. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's when you compare that to RJ Barrett's contract, it's not too much money.
Right. All right. But what about not compared to RJ Barrett? What about just compared to what Josh Hart brings to the team?
It's actually a great deal for us because he really could have got more.
Well, that was the max.
That's what I'm saying. That was the max. So it's a great deal for us. That was the max under the current CBA, I think they said, right?
The new CBA.
So that's, he deserves it.
Okay.
Bottom line, he deserves this.
Okay.
I definitely think it's worth it. And shout out to CP or Knicks Fan TV, because he broke down all the other players that's receiving what Josh Hart is receiving now. Mm-hmm. Just to name a few, but Bojanovic, Dylan Brooks, and I think he said a couple more. And whoever heard that particular show, I know y'all remember the names. It's not like, y'all know some of the names, but that was just two of the names that I can remember off top. So, and I think Josh Hart is better than both of those guys, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Right? So, as I said before earlier, is what he's worth, right? And what intangibles he brings to the game. You understand? The rebounding, the hustle, the I'm not saying energy I'm not saying, yes, he brings energy, but I'm saying he just bring a whole different blue collar game when he's on that court. You know what I mean? He's always engaged. He plays defense. And in not too much guards, you're gonna get that type of two-way intensity from Josh Hart. So you gotta look at the intangibles too, what he also brings to the team. You know, he's not a prolific shooter or a prolific three-point scorer, but he will get you those shots, you know, when it's needed to. You understand what I'm saying? So I just feel, in my opinion, it's all about his work and what intangible that he's bringing to the team that makes him get that type of salary. So if you know, y'all go ahead and y'all do your research and see the players who is making that type of money. Matter of fact, we got somebody on the bench that's making that money, and that's Fournier. Would you say he's better than Fournier? No, I don't think so. But Fournier is making 19 mil. So again, is whatever he is worth that he's going to get paid. You know, and as you could see in the illustration, what Queen just said, his salary goes, I think it was the ascending salary, Queen?
Ascending, yes.
It had to be.
Yeah, so, right. So, you know, and I think, Jeff, you know, break it down some more because I know you have more understanding how the contract is.
According to Fred Katz, if I read it correctly, the last year is a team option. And if that's the case,
Jeff got off.
Come on, Jeff. Come on. We got you there.
I'm sorry,
That's
we
okay.
got the internet issues over here.
I'm flickering.
I'm not going to move. And so we're really on the hook for 18.1, which was so he's making 13 million this year. The 140% is the max that we could raise him, and it goes up by that amount every year. And so that's where you get the 18, the 19, the 20, and the 22 or whatever it is. But the last year is an option year, and so we'll see how that goes. But the salary cap is going up. It's 13% of the cap at its peak, and for a player who's in your 9-man rotation to spend 13% of your cap on that, I don't think that's unreasonable. I mean, I think, I think we kind of get carried away because, it's $81 million. And over the next 5 years, we're paying him $94 million for a bench player. But that's the price of doing business these days. This isn't when Carmelo Anthony got his $121 million deal. The people make, Damian Lillard's making $60 million a season. So, if you want to say that Josh Hart is a third of the player of Damian Lillard, he's getting paid what he's worth, right? Now, that's obviously difficult to quantify, but, when the Knicks traded for Josh Hart, they were on above a 50-win pace the rest of the season. So, obviously this guy is some jet fuel for this engine. And now we have him locked in at a reasonable price. And the best part about it is it doesn't prevent us from signing IQ to a little bit larger deal and staying out of luxury tax territory. So it's a smart business deal from good cat people. And it's really what this Knicks front office has been best at, in my opinion, is these types of contracts.
We'll see. I don't care what the Knicks signed Josh Hart to. I don't care what they signed Quickley to. I don't care when it's time for Randle and Brunson to get their extension. If the Knicks feel like they want to max them, that's fine. This is my only concern with all of these contracts. When we get to that first apron and when we get to that second apron, as long as we have a first apron and a second apron team, I'm happy. The only issue you're going to have with me, I'm going to start complaining when we get to that first apron of the salary cap and that team is not a good team. Or we get to the second apron of the salary cap and that's not a second apron team because we gave out money to guys who didn't really live up to it. That's the only time you're going to have an issue with me. But my hope is that the front office has this under control. They've read the CBA. They have people there who are assessing the guys that we have in house, and they're giving out. They've plotted out, the salaries going forward, and that they believe this is a good deal. And whatever they give to Quickley, they believe that's a good deal. And when it's time for Brunson and Randle, they believe that's a good deal. Don't become a second apron team where you can't really make a lot of movement. Don't get to the second apron of the salary cap and not have a second apron team. That's it. As long as we get to those levels and the team that we have matches that, I'm good. I'm good.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that wasn't too convoluted.
So Queen, let me ask you a question, right? Real quick, right?
Yeah.
And I saw this statement, and they said that the Knicks is one of the 6 teams that doesn't have a max player.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you say that's a bad thing or a good thing, or basically what the front office is doing with all these contracts? Would you say? Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I would say it's a good thing because they sign guys who grew into max guys, right? They signed them. They bet on those guys that they're not max guys yet, but they're playing above their salary. So I think that's awesome. I think that's going to change in 2 years, though. But I think that's awesome for the Knicks that they've been able to do that. But we haven't done that with everybody, right? Because you can argue that RJ Barrett hasn't lived up to his contract yet. It hasn't. I think it kicks in this year coming.
Yeah.
So we shall see. So this is
the only reason why I kind of say that. I'm sorry. The only reason why I kind of said it because I kind of take offense when the person that said it said that we were bottom feeders because you had like Detroit and certain other teams like that, that don't have max players, but we was one of the 6. But although it's a playoff team, I mean, I felt kind of slighted by that. And that's just me. Me.
Yeah. But I think that they may not have a max contract, but I think Brunson is a max guy. I think Randle, if he performs in the playoffs the way he performed in the regular season, I think he's a max guy also. So the Knicks potentially have 2 max guys that they're just under contract right now. But when their contract is up, chances are they will be max guys. I wanted to show this, kind of similar to what you were saying. This is also as per Bobby Marks, ESPN.com. This is not for next year. I don't know why he didn't do next year, but this is for the year after. What the salary is. Hopefully, Fournier will be gone. I think those in red are guys who.
Those are team options.
Team options.
Yeah.
Okay. The percentage of the cap. So my question to you guys is, when you look at the salary compared to the percentage of the cap, a steal or not from the Knicks perspective?
Yeah, I think it's a steal, especially the only thing that's not is maybe RJ Barrett.
You guys love RJ Barrett.
I'm just saying, like, because he
said maybe RJ Barrett is not a steal.
Yeah, because you got to think
he's not though. He's right.
I'm just saying, RJ, this is for 2 years from now, though. Like, this is not even next season. This is the season after. So hopefully, depending on how RJ progresses, it might not be it might be a steal, but right now it's not. But it all depends. But for the most part, everybody else, yeah, we looking good.
You can say, Jared, right now it's a loss. Right now it's a bad deal.
You just have to say.
You know what?
Nah, you're like, beating around the bush. Listen, right now, RJ Barrett looks like a bad deal.
This is not the crap on RJ show.
Nah, I'm just saying. That might change. Like you said, that might change. But right now, it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal that RJ Barrett gets more money than Jalen Brunson. That's what I'm saying.
You're right. I can't argue that, AJ. You're right.
Just saying.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in 2 years though, that's
May
definitely
change.
going to change for real. Yeah, that's going to change.
In 2 years, look at Mitch. Look at Dante. I ain't got nothing to say about the 8% of the cap. What can you say about that?
Yeah,
I mean, if
You
this
got to
guy
give it up to
gives us
Brock
10
Aller.
points,
That's
if this guy
that's a
gives us 10
superb-
points a game, what are you going to
Agree.
say?
That is a superb deal with Dante DiVincenzo with
8%. Look at Mitch, 10% of the 10% of
Grimes
the
is
cap.
going to be the value contract of that group.
Say that again.
Grimes is going to be the big value contract of that group.
Right.
3% of the cap. You're starting two.
But he's this is the year. This is a team option, right?
Oh, yeah, they're going to pick up that team option for
That's true.
4.2.
That's true. That's true.
Now they may extend him, but that extension won't take effect till the following season.
Till the following year.
Right.
That's a good point. 3%. Look at Jericho's. Well, Jericho didn't even play. So
Well, shouldn't Deuce be on here too?
I don't know why he put some players on and others because IQ is not on here
IQ's
either.
not. Yeah, where's IQ?
Yeah,
He-
IQ is not
he
on.
don't
Well,
expect him to
IQ's in limbo because he's extension eligible, and so
Yeah.
we don't
so
know.
you don't
what
know
his
where he's going to be 2
situation
years
is.
from now.
Right.
Because
And they have
he
to
goes to
sign him
restricted
before the
free
season
agency.
start. Yeah, before the season start. Well, after the season, if they don't sign him, then he becomes restricted. But they have until up for the season to give him the extension.
Right. Do you think IQ gets more money than Hart?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree.
Yep.
100 plus. I'm thinking 100, 102, 102 million or something like that.
What's the max? Do anybody know what the max is
The max is close to the 200.
for him?
Yeah.
You
Like
serious?
I didn't know.
the max, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, he didn't
Somebody
get-
look it up. The max at is close.
Jeff, could I get some math on that?
Yeah, but
That's great.
don't he have to make like the All-Star team? Like, don't he have
No,
to no accolades? Just
I'm not sure what the percentage. I'd have to look
the
that up.
rookie
I'm
extension.
gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't mean like max period. I mean just max for him. Like
But,
he's
no,
not.
but I'm
Yeah,
saying
right.
what's the rookie extension scale is, because I know just like how Josh Hart was eligible for what was it 14% or something like that, Jeff?
1.4, 40%.
Right. So what is IQ's rookie scale extension multiplied by what he has right now?
I'm not sure. The only reason I knew it for Josh Hart was because I had heard the conversations about it when the new CBA was coming out, that was going to be a mechanism to get certain players more money in their current deals by opting in. It was just kind of an interesting quirk that the new CBA had. That's the only reason I know for sure that was the 140%.
Yes.
I think that
Sports
IQ
Track used to have it. They used to have what he was eligible for.
And then don't nobody
I
know.
think he's going to be somewhere between 4 years, 92 million, and
I think with incentives too, right, to make it up to 100. I think he's going to get.
but
I think he's going to get 100 plus. That's what I feel like. I'm with you with that.
But I think it's gonna. I think that the guaranteed money, to use a football term, is going to be somewhere in the 4 years, $92 million range, which would put him, higher than Hart and lower than Brunson and Barrett.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I said like
lower than
102. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Barrett,
think lower than
Barrett
Barrett.
is not one. Barrett is not 107.
Yeah, he's 107.
Right. So 102 for Quickley.
But why would you slot him in less than Barrett though?
Wow, that's a good question.
Quickly is a better player than Barrett, in my opinion, and has a higher ceiling.
Yeah, but that's going to be politics right there, because I think boy, that's
The crap on RJ show last week.
yeah.
I'm trying to see the largest
No.
he's eligible for, not necessarily what he would get, but what is the largest he's eligible for? I thought it was like 179 million. He's not getting.
It's a bunch the largest he's eligible for is far more than he's
what he's
ever
going to
get offered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think it is like 4 years, 170 million or something ridiculous like that. But
right. Yeah. I mean, Sherwin says IQ is not better than well, let's just go around really quick. You know, who do you think is better and why?
Between who and who? IQ and who?
And
RJ? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That's
Because
easy.
Sherwin says no. Sherwin says IQ is not better player than RJ Barrett. Let me tell you, when you start messing it around with those advanced stats, and you start putting in lineups with RJ Barrett and lineups with Quickley, and you see with RJ Barrett the blue like it's nighttime, and then you you put up the stats with IQ when it's orange like the sun is coming out.
Sunshine.
Everything is positive. Everything, any combination you put him and Brunson, him and Grimes, him and anybody is always going to be a positive with the kid.
Well, sure.
Check the numbers. The numbers said it. The numbers say it in IQ.
Stapha, any combination of IQ and anybody is positive. Any combination of RJ and anybody is negative.
Well, Sherman's answer was IQ is very inconsistent. But RJ is not consistent either.
he's consistently bad.
See the crap on RJ.
Yeah. So you see how that sound? No, but for real though, who is more inconsistent?
At first, in the beginning of the season, they both actually were very inconsistent. But IQ had a better second half than RJ.
I don't even think it was a whole half for IQ. I think it might have been a quarter.
Games.
Yeah.
I think the quarter, the max, he was terrible.
I know what the next RJ defense is going to be from Sherwin. He showed up in the playoffs. IQ is nowhere to be found. That's the next defense.
Someone could argue that, but even RJ's resurgence in the playoffs wasn't necessarily good. It was just better than he was in the regular season.
Right.
That's a good point.
That's the bad thing.
Well said. That's fair. That's fair. This is my new word I got from Anthony D. That's fair. That's fair.
Sweet to add D, man.
AD with no
Anthony
chaser.
D, man.
No chaser.
Keith Turner. Not true. IQ plus minus is off the charts. Contributes to win. It doesn't matter what the stats are when you're looking at IQ. And I had a better respect for IQ. I always thought he was good, but when you start delving into the stats and you start delving into the lineups, particularly defensively, he transforms the lineups even more than Grimes. And I'm not saying that Grimes is not just as good as a defensive player than he is, but for whatever reason, you take Grimes out of a lineup, you put Quickley in, that lineup becomes better. And I think it's probably because defensive-wise, I think Jeff brought it up or somebody he's like a defensive quarterback out there. That's right. You know, in terms of where people are supposed to be.
Yeah, IQ actually showed me a lot on the defensive end. Like a lot of times we'll be having these conversations, it's usually offense orientated, but like defensively, RJ was a hair shade of a cone for most of the season. Like he was a very, very bad defender.
Yeah. You know what? Bang USA Sports, I used to think that about Quickley, but I thought last season, I thought he was more under control. I think
he was too.
That was the one thing I had about Quickley. I was like, his decision making, you just don't know what you're going to get with this guy.
Right.
I thought it was much better last season. Now, he would have a few possessions every now and then where he just dribble out the clock. Just dribble it out and pass it to somebody with 4 seconds left. But for the most part, I thought his decision making was really good.
If you've been watching this show for the time since Stapha started this, IQ probably pissed her off more than any player on the team.
I'm like, what is this guy doing?
He really did not like IQ.
Yep.
But she's coming around because he's actually been better than what he's gotten better.
And I think his shot selection is his shooting percentage is going to get even better when with even better improved shot selection. His shot selection has improved, but I think it's going to get even better. And what I do respect about him, he's a worker and he studies film. And he cannot be happy with how he played in the playoffs. I expect IQ to come in from day one on another level. I do. And the only, in my opinion, I think IQ is our best trade chip for a small forward. I think he's a better trade chip than RJ Barrett, in my opinion. And I would only put him in a trade for somebody where, it's a position of need and we're going to clearly be better.
Could I just segue into something?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like you was reading my mind because I don't know if I sent you this article or not. So you know me, I'm always reading and come up on another article that a NBA executive anonymous say that the Knicks should trade Quickley for OG Anunoby. Now to the panel, would you do that trade?
Well, it's a good thing that GM is anonymous, because what would you do with RJ and OG Anunoby on the same team? Like
no, but I'm just saying
maybe you can move RJ in a separate trade,
right? Cause we know that, but let's just say it's him Quickley. Well, before we even sign him or whatever, because it might be a poison pill. Well, whatever, right? Yeah. Because the contracts has to match. So let's just say RJ, he goes back to Canada to Quickley. You understand? And they bring OG Anunoby and probably one other player or a second round pick. Just to have conversation, AJ, right? Would you make that trade?
That's tough, man. OG's availability scares the hell out of me, being a Knicks fan. Like, we've been through this before. For that alone, I almost don't want to do it. But he obviously fits the team perfectly. But I actually do think IQ is getting traded. Like I said earlier that I think Dante DiVincenzo, the reason they got him, I think he's going to be IQ's replacement off the bench. I just think the deal hasn't been done yet. Like, that IQ is about to get paid. Like Steph said, he had a bad playoff and he got to get paid. So he's going to come out with a vengeance. He's going to want to try to get started money and be a starter.
Keep in mind.
But let me give you context too. Hold on, Jeff. Let me give you a little more context too. Even though you got Schroeder up there, right? IQ could still come in and be the star that he is, because Van Vliet just left. Right. So he could go into that situation being a starting point guard, making over $25 million, because that's what they're gonna offer if the Knicks let him go to restricted free agent and a team comes and offer him 25 mil. I don't think the Knicks is going to match. Right? So yes, he's going to get paid. So it makes sense, but you know what I mean? It's just the whole, where we going to send RJ, or RJ is going to be in that package also to go to Canada, which he's a local there. They will accept, and he'll be probably even be more comfortable or whatever. I saw shout out to Locked On Knicks. They did a crossover with Locked On Toronto. Mm-hmm. And he said that, he doesn't believe they're going to trade OG. He said even if they trade Siakam, that doesn't mean they're blowing it up. That they could still build around OG and Scotty Barnes, but that if they were to trade for anybody, it would be Quickley over RJ, because RJ is not a shooter and they already have that with Scotty Barnes. And so, they probably wouldn't want two non-shooters right.
on the team. I would do it, and it's not one. I think I'm probably higher on OG than a lot of the fan base is. But for me, it's not about is OG better than Quickly? Is Quickly better than OG? It's about
It's the fit.
what OG would do for our team, and
Right.
also the fact that I feel like the Knicks had an opportunity to make Quickly the starting point guard. They didn't do that. They brought in Brunson. I'm glad they did. I'm not arguing. They still have an opportunity to start him at shooting guard. They're not doing that. And I'm sure they have their reasons, and the reasons are probably valid. The basketball reasons are probably valid. Though when you look at those defensive lineups with Brunson and Quickly, they look pretty good. They're not doing that. They're starting Grimes. They doubled down and even brought in DiVincenzo. Either one of those guys would probably start at the 2 before Quickly. So I'm like,
right.
They basically see him as a 6-man. How much you paying your 6-man? And would we be better off with a small forward? You know, if we can use Quickly, would the team be better off? And again, I'm not comparing Quickly to OG. I'm not, I'm not doing that. But would the team be better off with OG in that second unit starting, and us not having Quickly? I feel like if we didn't have Quickly in the second unit, we would have DiVincenzo. I'm not saying DiVincenzo is Quickly, but I'm just saying it's not like we're dropping off from Quickly to last year's version of McBride, last year's version, because he could be something totally different this year. I don't know. I think I would do it.
I think with the contract that Josh Hart just signed, combined with them getting Dante DiVincenzo, makes IQ very, very movable. Not saying that I want him moved, but it's almost like the writing's on the wall. Like, I think they're going to move him.
One thing you want to keep in mind about Quickly is whether or not he gets an extension is a big tell. Because if he signs the extension, he becomes one of those poison pill contracts that are very difficult to trade, which means he's probably not going anywhere this calendar year if he signs the extension. So we'll know in about a month and a half whether Quickly's going anywhere or not, if he's dealt beforehand. But the problem right now is you really have to add salary to him because he's not making that much money.
I think like $4 million, something like that. 4
or 5 million or something like that. Not a lot.
You're gonna probably have Fournier in that deal too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
no, I agree with you. If they sign him, he's not going anywhere this season.
And so that'll be the tell. But if the deal, I don't think the Raptors want any part of RJ Barrett. They already have Scotty Barnes, as you said. I don't mean that to disrespect Barrett. I don't see him as a fit with what they already have. But a deal of Fournier and Quick, I don't know. I think I would do that because here's the thing: that OG Anunoby is such a good defensive player, and to have a tall wing who can defend, that's really the missing piece for this puzzle.
So Jeff, let me ask you this, right? And this is just to make conversation because I love conversation, and we get to hear different opinions, right? So would you think RJ will be willing to sacrifice his starting spot to come off the bench and let Grimes start alongside Brunson, OG, Brandel, and Mitch?
RJ got to be gone. Probably in a separate trade. I don't really see both of them on the team. But just for
but I'm just for argument's sake,
Well, my answer is I don't really care about RJ's feelings. Start the best 5 players. He's making his money, whether he come off the bench or whether he's starting. I don't really care how he.
Can we show RJ a little love, please? A little love.
Well, I love you on the bench, boss.
Right. I mean, RJ is getting it tonight.
Well, he's playing his rear end off up for Team Canada right now, though. Did you see any of those highlights? He's tearing it up. He looked amazing.
Yeah.
He's making 3-point shots and good passes, and floor game looked good. He looked sharp for Team Canada. I don't know if y'all got to see any of that footage or not, but I thought he looked really good.
Yeah.
No, I didn't yet, but would you feel that second unit will be effective with him?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sure.
Andre Walker said, keep it in contacts. He dropped 12 points.
I'm trying to be nice to the guy. I'm trying to do what Andre said, and Andre Walker got to bring back the real. You're right, bro.
Just tried to gas him up, and somebody just took him right back down, man. Why y'all crying about RJ?
Jarrell, it's this man, poor RJ Barrett, man.
But I'm just all right. In my opinion, I will go to RJ and be like, look, if you want to win, take this position, even be probably the best six man that you could be, because he's gonna come off the bench first. You understand? And give him hold on and give him a challenge. You understand what I'm saying? So if that is to make the team better, and he's coming off the bench and he accept that role, I mean, why not? He might be even more efficient than how he's doing in the starting lineup. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Pardon me. Are we talking about Tom Thibodeau's team? The guy who tells Evan Fournier you're no longer in the line. We're gonna try something else, and then you're no longer in the lineup. So now he's got to go and negotiate with RJ Barrett. Hey, why don't you try it? No. How about he tells RJ Barrett, listen, you're not coming through. You're not performing. We're going to do something different. All right. We're going to put you on the bench. We're going to try a different lineup. And after a couple of games, if that works, don't talk to RJ anymore. That's what Tom Thibodeau does. So why we have to negotiate with RJ Barrett? Tell him.
He's very harsh, boy. Oh gosh, boy.
I mean, that's what he does.
But I ain't think. I mean, would you talk to him like that type of way, like how you speaking?
That's what Tom Thibodeau. It's not me. That's what the coach does. That's what he does. As per the players that play there. That's what he does.
I guess he did Fournier that.
I think he depends on the player, because he didn't do McBride like that. So I guess it depends.
Well, no, I don't think McBride expected to play any significant.
But he told him what it was when Josh Hart came. Told him to stay ready.
Same speech.
You
know. I wish I heard. I didn't mean to cut you off, Steph.
No, that's okay.
I was just about to say I wish I heard some IQ for Brandon Ingram rumors. I don't know if y'all have been watching.
Jarrell, don't get Queen started with the Brandon
Ingram could play 60 games a year. I'm good.
Here we go.
But have you been watching like the Jalen Brunson to Brandon Ingram connection on USA Basketball lately? Yes, I would trade for him. Yes. That is my number one target. It's not OG.
And you know what? New Orleans wouldn't mind too, because Trey Murphy III will step in right in that starting role right there. So they wouldn't mind trading, because they got a lot of wings, bro.
Yep. Herb Jones. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And he was on the select team also too.
I'll actually take any one of them, those three. We just need one of them. But I would prefer Brandon Ingram, even though his health scares me too.
It does. But
so, what would the Brandon Ingram deal look like, Jarrell?
IQ,
RJ,
Fournier. You have to put Fournier in there.
Probably about 3 picks.
Man, I'd be trying to get rid of RJ Barrett.
So I would say that IQ, RJ.
You know, boy.
Yeah.
No, it did.
No, but this is the thing again. That RJ thing gonna be very sticky, because why would they? I mean, don't get me wrong, and he's coming back to play with his college mate. But you got Trey Murphy III, who is coming up. You know, so I don't know that. It might have to be a 3-team trade where RJ goes somewhere else, because I don't see probably New Orleans wanting RJ when they got that young stud right there. They're going to develop him.
Well, how much does Ingram make a year?
Got to be in the 30s, something like that, which is cheap compared to these contracts now.
Right, another bargain.
Shout out to Paris Duggar. There's no contract we can get rid of because we have so many draft picks. Tibbs won't play the picks, so we never draft with our picks. They're just to get rid of useless contracts. Well, that's what it's been up to this point. Hopefully, when somebody comes around, we'll use them for other things.
Hopefully, Brandon Ingram.
You know, people keep talking about all these picks and all these picks, especially the Knicks fans. You know, the bigger, I mean, not say bigger heads, but the executives around the league and the Woj and the Bobby Marks, they think we in an excellent position with all these contracts and picks and all of that, because within the next 1 to 2 years, it's going to be a plethora of young upcoming superstars that's going to be available. You understand? So I don't see what's the whole big deal with us just gathering these picks to make a big move. You know, that's just my opinion on that, you know? And I have to totally agree. I think we're in a good position.
I agree too, but I just think the better we are, the worse the picks become, right? You start getting to the playoffs, now first round, second round, Eastern Conference Finals, you know, the pick, you know, gets further, you know, further lower and lower into the first round.
Salute to Mike Boy in the chat. I would definitely like Mikal Bridges also. I just think it would never happen.
Yeah, nah, Brooklyn is building around him and Cam Johnson and that other young kid they got coming off the bench. Torch.
Yeah, I just
Claxton. No, the other little young guy. What's his name? He torched Grimes in that one game.
Cam something. The other Cam.
Cam Thomas.
I think it's Cam Thomas. Yeah, Cam Thomas. Yeah. So that's a little nucleus going in right there, man. You know.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Even though I love
and Ben Simmons. They say Ben Simmons is looking good. I want to see that.
Hey, Ben Simmons putting out shooting footage now. You see that?
Yeah, we'll see.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Send it to me, Jarrell.
I gotta find it. It was like last week. Yeah, I'm gonna find it.
Yeah, whenever you get content like that, just slip it in the chat, bro.
Okay.
Who do you? I'm not gonna ask the. Sherwin is asking Mike Boy, who do he think is a better player between Bridges and Ingram? But for me, who do you think would be better on the Knicks?
For us.
Boy, I'm taking Bridges. Sorry.
Bridges is an Iron Man, better defender.
I'm taking Bridges.
You both can shoot.
No, wait, what? Queen, who are you picking, Queen? I want to know.
Queen is a bucket, though, man.
Queen.
I will tell you this. I will always pick a player who has star potential over a two-way player. Now, Mikal Bridges, the way he played last year, he surprised us. He might have star potential as well. Yep. You know, and if he has star potential and he's a two-way player, I'll give him the edge. I'm not ready to say, even though he's a two-way player, I'm not ready to say he has star potential like Ingram. I think Ingram has star potential. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Bridges. I like him, and he showed me something last season with the with Brooklyn that, you know, some players, you know, they play their role with guys in front of them, and when they get to another team, you know, he's like, all right, yeah, that's just who they were. And then other guys, once they get to another team, like, oh, they were being held back, you know. And I think that's what I think what we're seeing with Mikal Bridges, that he played his role, but now that he's in a different role, he's showing something. It's close. I wouldn't be mad with any of those guys.
No.
I'm sticking with Mikal, man.
Brandon Ingram stops the ball. Usually people who stop the ball are guys that know how to play. You know what I mean? Like the people who's passing the ball around, sometimes they're passing it around for a reason. They're not
afraid
off
to
the
take the
dribble
shot.
guys. They're not off the dribble guys. You know, they're guys that they get their shots off of just moving the ball and
Catch and shoot, slash.
You went on
You
mute,
know?
sir.
sorry, off the catch and shoot. So I don't know. I don't know
Yep,
about
I agree, D Coolish. Availability is the best ability.
that too.
And just like
You're
Jarrell
right.
said, Iron Man.
The only the only player who played 83 regular season game last season.
Like I don't think he's ever missed a game.
I don't think he ever missed a game.
Since his career started. He hasn't missed a game.
Yes, exactly.
Crazy.
So
Nowadays, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So
Dirty
that's why I
Dancing.
gotta give him the edge.
Someone has to score on a bad team. That was Mikal last year.
That is true. That's why
But he had Cam Thomas. He had Cam Johnson. He had what's the name that they just traded to Detroit, the shooter. What's his name?
Well, I know they had
What's his
Spencer Dinwiddie too. I know that's not who you're talking about, but they had.
No, I'm not talking about. And they had Spencer Dinwiddie. Come on, the man had help over there.
No
Even though they got swept, you know what I mean. But you know, Brunson gave him a wicked move, he was going and then he stopped and then he just went past him when Brooklyn was in New York. What's his name, man? They traded him to Detroit though. He's one of the 3-point specialists, man. What's his name?
What, Harris?
Joe Harris. Right. Joe Harris, yes.
Yeah.
And what
Joe
about
Harris?
I think the Nets have a decent squad. I mean, they lack star power, but they're not a terrible team. I don't think they're a lottery. I think they'll be at least battling for a play-in spot this year.
I think they even showed pride too, yo. Mikal Bridges, I think, you know, they're gonna build around him. You know, I just think he's just one of those upcoming star potential player that's in the next generation. You know, I ain't say he's a star, just a potential star.
right? Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, are we stuck with RJ Barrett?
Come on, man.
Are we stuck with him?
Come on, man.
Yeah, man, it's 11:30.
Come on, man.
You trying to get the chat jumping on you that late, man?
Come on.
Look how much of an Iron Man he was. He played in 83 games last season.
That's what I said. He's the only player last year who played 83 regular season games.
Yeah. Missed a game. So you can't take that away from him. So, like, if we did get him, I'd be ecstatic. I just
I would be too. Don't get me wrong, but I ain't gonna be mad if we weren't able to get him and we got Ingram. I would not.
I'll take Ingram too. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, but it's just, as we say, just his injuries are concerned, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, how much games did he play last season, though?
Nah, he only played because he was on my fantasy team. He must have played 12 games. Every time I turned around, he would knock it.
Damn.
He was out the lineup with a toe injury. I'm like, come on.
Man, that's giving me like McDice. That's giving me McDice days, man. Like
Brandon Ingram he played and started in 45 games last year.
And the year before that?
55.
And the year before that?
61. 62.
Yeah.
52. 59.
Yeah.
You see.
Every year.
Come on, man.
The only season he wasn't hurt pretty much was his rookie year.
Yeah, man. That's with the Lakers, right?
Yeah, he played 79.
Yeah, man.
Can you believe the Lakers had all these good players?
Yeah, because they picked them high as hell. They were sorry for like a good stretch. Remember, they picked them all in the top 10.
Sherman, you all right today? You good, Sharon? Like, I don't think today is a good night, man. Mikal Bridges with blah, 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 blah. He's also 200 pounds. He's too light in the rear to defend most. RJ will bully him.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
And what?
Come on,
Like a one-on-one matchup? Like if they were playing one-on-one? Or
It has to be one-on-one. It has to be one. That's the only way you gonna bully him.
Yeah, Mikal.
You know what I mean?
Played an RJ Barrett, though.
Let me tell you something.
That's not
if
even
we
close.
had an opportunity, we couldn't give away RJ Barrett for Mikal Bridges with stock in the Knicks. We still wouldn't be able to do it.
So RJ and the cable vision? Like you can't even trade RJ and cable vision.
RJ and 20% stocks.
Wow.
And
Oh,
optimal. No.
All the RJ talk tonight. You guys are starting good.
RJ, you started.
No, me?
Yes.
Yeah, you started it.
Yes, you started.
We still can't get rid of RJ Barrett. Like,
see, you keep going.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't know what Sherwin's talking about, man.
So what's your thoughts on Jalen Brunson first game with Team USA?
It makes me want to see when Jaren Jackson contract is up. One thing.
That's a great point.
I really love that combination. Yeah. And I like him with Ingram too. But yeah. I like Brunson is Brunson.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of players play better when they have better players around them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As I told Sim the other night, I feel like in Steve Kerr's system, he wants Jalen Brunson to be more of a facilitator and a playmaker more than being just the man, because there's so much better players that can shoot the ball that could probably take over, like the BIs, the Anthony Edwards, the pick and roll between him and JJ, Triple J, you know what I mean? So, it's...
Oh, you're the one that started that thing, Stapha?
Started what?
Because then Sim went, what you saying? Tibbs ain't doing it right? Man,
no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. No, that wasn't me.
That wasn't somebody triggered like a whole Tibbs conversation over there.
Nah, I know who it. I know who it is.
Yeah, shout out to Sim. Nothing but man. Always great shows over there.
One thing I noticed about watching USA basketball practices and stuff like that, Anthony Edwards is a superstar in the making.
What? Tell me about it.
He's completely.
I think he is the key. When you see to take over, bro. I honestly feel like that too, Jarrell. Yeah. I ain't gonna even front. I feel that way.
Yeah. He saw his body. He changed his body. I said, who's this guy? Because he just looks different.
Yep.
I said, who's this guy on the team?
You can tell
he got in the gym. Anthony Edwards?
He got in the gym.
Wow.
He can't wait to play Team Canada and shut down RJ.
I know, right?
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
He respect RJ that much.
Yeah. And
so I think we
in the beginning when RJ was getting a lot of smoke from different areas, some from media outlets being left off of different teams.
Yeah, me too.
And then from Edwards saying they wanted RJ to take the shot and what happened. Maybe we was just late to the party. Maybe those guys saw things we didn't see.
I agree with you 100%. I agree. I got really mad when they left him off the top 25 under 25. I was like, man, they hate on RJ. Now I'm like, they saw something I didn't.
But that's
my guy. I like RJ Barrett, man. Like I want that kid. I want him to do so well. It's just it's not materializing.
But so far, that Jalen Brunson and Anthony Edwards backcourt looks crazy.
Yeah.
And Jaren Jackson on that pick and roll, he slid a pass in there. I was like, how did he even get that through?
Right.
Yeah. Did you see that fake on top of the key where he was about to go and he faked him and he just gave it to Triple J and he just dunked it? Mm-hmm. That was a wicked play right there. But because you got to respect his 3-point game, and his penetration. And that pick and roll is
maybe
sweet.
We'll do some more pick and rolls with. How do you think Jalen Brunson Randle pick and roll would work?
See, that's what I was thinking, but it doesn't seem like Tibbs want that. You could tell because they never ran that. and I don't see why they wouldn't have. Like, it really didn't make sense to me why they didn't last year.
Right.
Like, it seemed like, does Randle no longer want to be the roll man or the pick and pop? Like, he can do either.
Yeah,
because he used to do that.
Out the game though.
Yeah, man. He had a wicked jump shot, yo, and I find he just never went back. He has his fadeaway now, but one time, that pick and pop right there, that straight up jump shot takes more of those, in my opinion. You know?
Yeah, when Mitch is out the game, you're
right.
Right.
And when Mitch is there any lineups when Randle? Yeah, there was a few lineups when Randle was in there with Hart. I don't think it happens a lot though.
Nah, but even with that, it can't. If Hart isn't going to shoot, like that, I don't want him on the floor either. Like Julius Randle we would have to play small ball 5 with Julius at the 5 in order for that to happen.
Right.
We don't have a confident shooting 5. Like Hartenstein obviously can shoot it, but if he's not going to shoot it, then it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And anything else before we do our sneak peek preview of next Tuesday's show, the I Cram to Understand You Mitchell Robinson edition?
He's a Sam Mitch.
Oh, I wanted, yeah, we'll talk about that. I did want to ask this question. Who we got? Josh Hart playing for USA. We got Brunson, of course. We got RJ playing for Canada, and we got Grimes, who's part of the select team, who's practicing. Do you think
and Fournier in France?
And Fournier in France.
Right. Did I hear he got injured or something? But I'm sorry, you could talk about it after.
I'm not sure.
Do you think this helps elevate their game? Like, are you expecting those guys to start camp sharp?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but I guess it depends on the player. Like fatigue can do a little something too. Like usually when players do play international ball in the off season, sometimes they don't have good starts to the game. I mean starts of the season, but we'll see. Like I'm not banking on it, but it can be a concern.
Okay. That they may be a little tired coming in.
Yeah, that's all. Like they'll get,
you would see that at the beginning of the season or with the wear and tear as the season goes along.
That's a good question. Like I said, it could be depending on the player. Like RJ already starts slow. So usually, I didn't say that to crap on RJ. It's just a fact.
No, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I'm just saying that if he does start slow again, I wouldn't know if I'm right or not. I guess we'll see if he starts slow.
But shout out to the Knicks though. I mean, are we the team with the most players involved in FIBA? Yeah, we have to be, right?
We might be.
We got 5. We got 5 guys. We have 5 players in there.
I don't know, to be honest.
Well, we're including Grimes in the select team.
Select team.
Right. But does it count if they're on other teams though?
Playing in FIBA.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
Okay. USA ain't the only ball court in town anymore. So some of those teams are really, really good. Like Luka's team is good.
Yep, and we played them on Saturday.
Yep, they're good.
Battle.
And not just
and I want to see who's going to defend him because Luka.
Nobody.
He was nasty. He was nasty in that last game, man.
Yeah, can nobody guard him.
Yo.
Did anybody see the RJ game? They played today, right?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't see any highlights yet.
Okay.
I just saw
highlights. Did you say you saw it? Yeah, that's what
I saw clips of like on X about it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I saw clips. That was it. Like some highlights.
That's all I saw. So highlights made them look real good, but then those 12 points were really something.
IKBM said Orlando has 5.
That's 5 players.
Oh.
Orlando has 5. Is Bridges? Mikael Bridges is on the the FIBA team. Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Brooklyn got 2 guys in the
Cam Johnson too, right?
Yeah, Cam Johnson.
Yeah, he's coming off the bench.
Yeah, they both come off the bench, right?
No, Mikael starts.
Oh, okay. He did.
Yeah, Mikal starts at small. Yeah, he starts at small.
Was it him or I thought it was Bridget? I mean,
No.
Ingram.
Ingram.
No, my bad. No, my bad. I think it's Ingram. Yeah. I think he can do is come off the bench.
But they still get burned though. Like they had highlights. They was killing too.
Yeah, because I think in the Puerto Rico game when he came on, they just brought that defense and they started blowing out.
Yeah, pulling
Puerto
away.
Rico.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yo, watching Cam Johnson is really, really surprising me. He's getting a lot better because I'm a North Carolina fan, so I watched him in college and stuff. I did not think he was going to be how he is now. Like I didn't think he was going to be in the league like that.
Right. Jarrell, you know the first 2 practices I sent you, I was like, "Yo, Cam is the weakest link on that team, bro."
Well, I'm talking about the
because I'm like, yo, he was just missing shots. I'm like, yo, what is he doing? Does he belong in this team? But then after I see, like, I think he had, I guess, it's time to gel with the players and understand the system. So I see he's starting to play better now. So
yeah,
I'm gonna give him his ratings. But I thought I just looking at the team and how he was playing in the first 2 practices, I'm like, yo, you don't need to be on this team.
Yeah, but he's definitely improved since he came into the league.
That's true.
We run a ton of pick and rolls. Yeah, I've missing that. I don't think we run that much pick and roll with them. Not as much as I would like to see.
Right.
Yeah,
Dre got to come on. Dre got to come on the show.
Man, he was great last time.
Yeah, he definitely got to come on the show. All right. So next Tuesday we're doing the I Cram to Understand You. We're going to continue the fan focus series. We're going with Mitchell Robinson, and this is basically an opportunity for us to hear each other out, agree or disagree, just to hear where the other half is coming from. And Mitch is another one of those players where the fan base is split. I don't know if it's evenly. I think Mitch gets probably more support than not. No?
I don't know.
You think it's about 50-50?
I think a lot of the people that did support him is slowly turning as the years go by because he's not really improving. So, like, Mitch has way less fans than he used to. But he still has fans, like tons of fans, though.
Right.
But I would think it's more, he needs to get better.
I think he's a polarizing player for sure.
Right. Kind of like Randle. Like, it could go either way, depending on the night.
All right. I'll start dropping the link, Dre. So, yeah, we'll talk about him. We're going to do I'm going to do a podcast with Jeff, who's I don't know if huge, big fan. Is that fair? Big fan of Mitch?
Oh, yeah, my favorite player.
Oh, okay. Mitch is his favorite. No wonder we can't really say much about. And Jeff will just be like this.
Yep.
Let us finish everything we have to say.
You know why? Because we ain't lying.
That's why. The soliloquy on Mitchell Robinson.
That's funny.
So we're gonna do. Hopefully, wherever you get your podcast from, wherever you stream, the Just Nick and His Show is on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on Google, it's wherever you listen to your podcast. Look for the Just Nick and His Show, follow the show, so whenever the podcast drop, you'll get a notification. But me and Jeff will do one on Mitchell Robinson, and it's not going to be a lot of any pushback from me. I'm just, seeking to understand. Mitch is one of those guys where I go back and forth with, and I think I've settled on he's super important defensively. I just think his lack of offense, the defense just doesn't outweigh the lack of offense. His plus minus numbers will say different though, right? His plus minus numbers are really good. So we'll talk about that. And then next Tuesday, it'll be the call-in show. So you get an opportunity to hop on a panel or call in and talk about Mitchell Robinson. Any early just a quick synopsis on where you stand on Mitchell Robinson before we get out of here as a preview.
You just want to go around?
Yeah, go ahead, Jerome.
Quick synopsis. I think Mitch is who he is. I'm not really expecting any type of improvement from him. And I think we need to upgrade the position ultimately. But he's our starting center now. He's okay.
That's actually fair.
And
very fair, right?
Ultimately, doesn't mean like
right
tomorrow, but ultimately, okay.
Ultimately, we're going to need to upgrade the position, but it does not have to be this season. Like Mitch is on a very, very tradable and nice contract that I like.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like Mitch.
It's not your turn. Sorry. The president, it's not your turn.
You see the first thing he said, right? I like Mitch. Like it's a slogan.
Man, we got to get ready for him. The president, vice president. I don't know who is who. We got to get ready for them. But AJ, see if you can get something in real quick.
I know, right? Let me speak something real quick. I think positively of Mitch. Listen, he's not the greatest center in the world. He's not, top anything in the league. But
he is top offensive rebounder in the league.
Wait your turn, Stapha. Wait your turn. Gosh, he can't say nothing.
But he is. But I think he. I think he does his job very, very nicely. He fills in like what he's asked to do on the team on this particular team. Right. He does it like extremely well. So he fits this team.
Right.
And that's why I think very positively of him. Like Jarrell said, he's a very nice tradable contract. And if something better comes along, bye-bye Mitch. But otherwise, he's here. He's good. He's good for this team. He does what he's supposed to do for this team. So, yeah, he's good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I think when you say you want to upgrade people, like we don't appreciate what he does. Like you could appreciate, like I appreciated my old, I forgot what it was, Ford Escape. I appreciated that little car.
You just called Mitch a Ford Escape?
No. I'm just saying in general, I appreciated my Ford Escape for what it did for me at the time. But, when it was time to upgrade, it was time to upgrade. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he's a Ford Escape. Because I got to make that clear before Jeff and Staph.
Right. You did call Mitch a Ford Escape, though. I don't know. I just want to be clear.
I'm trying to give an example of how something works for you and is good for you, but you still
I didn't hear anything else after the Ford Escape comparison.
Yeah, after that, you could have stopped talking, Staph. He's a Ford Escape.
Oh, boy.
I was just trying to give an example of how something can work for you and then you upgrade. That's all. I'm just saying. All right, Jeff.
As long as your car gets you to work and back and it doesn't have any problems, it don't matter what make and model it is. If you got a BMW and it's broken down on the road every other day, it's not a good car. If that Ford Escape getting you back and forth to work every day and you getting good gas mileage out of it, then that's the car to have.
Yeah, that's a Kyrie Irving versus Brunson. That might be a Kyrie Irving Brunson analogy.
So, Jeff, does that mean you want to talk about Mitch's availability?
Well,
And you know what? We don't really talk about that enough. If you read his games played, I'm like, yo.
Right. Like
I think Mitch played 59 games. Was it 59 games last season? I couldn't believe it.
Yep.
15. We want to talk about Ingram. Nah.
Well, 59 is more than 45.
That's true.
By a good margin.
It is. But I'm saying it's still like 20, 23 games. But anyway, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I try not to focus on what Mitch isn't. I know what his shortcomings are, and he's not a perfect player, but the question that you're always asking, which is a fabulous one, is can he be a piece on a championship team? And I think he can. And the reason I think he can is because I think that his impact defensively is understated. And I don't want to give away everything. see when y'all don't know this, but when Queen. When I'm going to go on with Queen, I got to do some homework before I get on there because she asks the best questions in the business. I don't want to come. You can't just come in here half-cocked and expect to not get your doors blown off. So I'm going to come in with my
I'm take it easy though.
Yeah, but you still got to be ready because the questions are good. I don't want to be rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling and stammering and yammering while you hadn't said nothing in 25 minutes. I ain't coming to the party like that now.
No worries. I mean, you ain't got to go into the stats and all that. I don't think I'm not going to ask those type of questions.
Well, but
just be ready, Jeff. Just be ready.
but what I will say is this: I think there are certain areas where his offensive rating is off the charts. It's like 141 or something like that. It's ridiculous. And that's for a guy who can't shoot outside of 3 feet. So, and his offensive rebounding, which Stapha already mentioned, out of turn, but he is one of the best in the league at that. And when you have a team that shoots like a bunch of stormtroopers, it's a good idea to have a 5 who can rebound the heck out of it on the offensive glass. And that's something that he does very well. And, so just to tease a little bit, what I'm going to talk about is it's his 5th year in the league. He's like 24 years old, I think. And if you look at his first 5 years of his career and compare him to the first 5 years of DeAndre Jordan's career, and that's the player that I liken him to the most. And the reason behind that is that how would you describe DeAndre Jordan's offensive game?
To me,
all dunks and putbacks, right?
Yeah.
Lobs and dunks and putbacks. That was his game, right? Are we on the same page there offensively?
Yeah, but can I just add one thing? And I don't want to interrupt too much. DeAndre Ayton understands offense. Like in terms of being able to facilitate an offense, being able to move the ball along. I get what you're saying in terms of scoring. They score in similar ways, but I don't think Mitchell Robinson understands offense. Like when he gets the ball, he has to do a dribble handoff. He's not somebody that's going to turn and face the basket and hit a cutter or hit a win. Like I just don't think he's
save some for the podcast. Save some for the podcast.
I don't think he's very comfortable on the offensive end.
Don't get him too much.
Okay.
Don't get him too much. Don't get him too much.
Okay, all right.
Don't get him too much.
I'm going to hand it off to Stapha because he's chomping at the bit to say something I can tell.
No. All I want to say, all I want to say is,
hold on.
Go ahead.
That you compare him to Ayton.
Not Ayton, Jordan, DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, I thought you said Ayton.
No, DeAndre Jordan.
Okay.
DeAndre Jordan from the Clippers. He dunks and he lobs, and that was his offensive game, right?
Yeah.
And he was on some excellent Los Angeles Clippers teams that were they never made the championship, but they were final contenders. It's funny that he actually got his ring this year finally, but as a backup. But so I'm going to make a few comparisons there, and I think you'll find the numbers rather interesting. And I want to contrast the players too, because there are some things that he doesn't do that DeAndre does, and I want to make that clear. But
Jeff, don't get him too much. You're getting them too much, Jeff. Don't get them too much, man. They don't wait on.
Man, don't get them too much.
Yeah, man.
I'll just stop right there and let Stapha finish it off.
Yeah, all I want to say is Knicks 100 AGM, Antonio Jenkins, and who else I've seen, and I think Andre Walker. Please call in next week Tuesday to let me know why Mitch is trash, why Mitch is a bum, and why Mitch needs a backup. You want to hear y'all opinion, how y'all feel about Mitch, right? So that's why the talking show is for y'all to call in on Tuesday. Why I Cram to Understand series by the Queen. Hey, you understand what I'm saying? So y'all should know I like Mitch. I think the only thing he needs to work on is his free throws and just continue doing what you do best. Offensive rebounds, putbacks, lobs, and master the craft of what you're good in. You understand? All the thing you need is an offensive game, and just master what you can master first, blocking shots, and then you could get to the next level. That's all I have with Mitch. I think I like him. I don't think he's a liability, because I think we have already too much scores on as far as scoring. As far as scoring on the team. No, I really don't think so. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna talk about it next. We're gonna bring back up the same question next week Tuesday. Right? It's after 12. Right. So
you said no pushback. Or you gonna be
that was next week though. That's what I'm trying to get it in now. Because next week is no pushback. He's not a liability on the offensive end. I think you could say his defense. You want to say his defense outweighs his offensive liability. All right, I could get with that. But
I can't wait to see the Queens no pushback policy on the Tibbs show.
So
oh yeah, I'm listening. So let me tell you, I'm gonna bring a drink to the Tibbs show.
Yeah, man, and please everybody sign up to Queen's newsletter. I think it comes out every Tuesday, Queen? Every Tuesday comes out?
Every Monday.
Monday? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sign up to the newsletter.
Yeah. And subscribe. A lot of people are reading it, like
yes,
over 150 people reading, but the subscriptions is still in the 20s. So subscribe is free.
Yes, subscribe. Subscribe is free.
Yeah. It's just a free subscription.
Yes. Just like hit the like button. It's free.
Yeah,
we still ain't hit 100 likes tonight. Come on, y'all.
Yeah. It's the subscription is free. I'm like, well, maybe people are not, because they think you got to pay for it.
No, you don't have to pay for it, people. Just go ahead and subscribe, man. It's free.
Nice
it's a nice newsletter. You get to get more in depth who Queen is. You know what I mean? Her adventures, her thoughts on Randle. I think we had thoughts on RJ.
And then we had Mitch.
Right, you had me on there, you had AD on there, and then this week you're gonna get Jeff. So it's a very good series, very good newsletter. Yeah, man. Y'all subscribe, man. Support.
And if there's anybody out there who's not a big fan of Mitch and you want to do a podcast, we're talking like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, just DM me on Twitter, or you can email me at bksteph33@gmail.com. And this is from a fan's perspective. You're not going to get a lot of pushback. I'm just going to ask questions to help understand your point of view. I just need you to say more than he's a bum. Like I need you to be able to articulate why you don't like him, but you don't have to delve all into the stats, and you don't have to do that.
Get them your Twitter handle too, Queen. Also, get them your Twitter handle also.
BKSteph30 at BKSteph33.
It can't be you call. It can't be you call in. All right, what do you have to say tonight? He's a bum. Click.
Right. You can't do a 30-minute podcast on that, but you can. You don't have to be all into the stats too, either. All right. Anything else? I appreciate you guys. Jay Boogie, who wasn't here tonight, appreciate him as well.
Yeah, salute to Jay Boog, man. He was in the chat earlier.
Yes. I saw that. Shout out to him. Shout out to the chat, you guys. I appreciate you. We got 85, we got 101 in the chat and 85 likes. So only 15 people.
Come on, let's get that 15 up before we get out of here, man. Let's go, man. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm thinking that maybe people are just not near their phone.
Just show that real quick.
Shots fired.
The X production. You could do the rewind tomorrow. What I want to try to do is do a condensed video, like what the main topic was. So I think we talked about the whole Brunson.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
So I'm gonna do the Brunson part, and I'll see if there's any other parts I can take out and make into shorter videos. But I know there's some people who have said when when they wake up the next morning and see a 3-hour show, oh, I'm not doing that. So if the whatever the main topic is, make that a separate video for those who want to get into that. So I want to get in the habit of
the spicy parts, the jalapeno parts.
Yeah. For sure.
Salute, Mega. Salute, Mega. Salute.
Yeah, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you. All right. We any last words before I hit the
salute to you, Queen. Salute to the chat. Salute to all my guys here on the panel, man. You already know, man. It's all love, heart of love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Good night to everybody, you know? Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, man,
October 7th, that MBK Knicks season kickoff event in Coxsackie, New York, right outside of Albany, New York. Sim will come out with the details, but this is one of those save the dates type of things. So if you need to put something in for work, you know, it's almost 2 months, close to 2 months out. All right. Until next time.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine.
her.
Don't talk.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't talk.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't talk.
What?
Don't talk.
What?
Don't talk.
Where you